welcome to another exciting episode of Pokemon D&D, Wundoro Adventure. I'm going to turn on some wonderful entry music here. Today is a special episode and a special day. We don't usually do it today. We usually do it on
every
off
other
days.
week.
But we're trying to finish up this, what was supposed to be a one-shot, one-and-done, that has kind of boiled over into the next Monday here. So we are once again joined by Peter and Jillian. Say
And
hello,
then
you two.
other special guest, which is a puppy.
Hello.
Is
The
it?
puppy is currently sleeping in Jillian's arms.
And it's very cute.
Her name is Butter. She weighs about 5 pounds. And she looks like a fuzzy big potato.
It is adorable.
She makes squeaks more than anything. She's quite adorable.
Yeah, you guys might hear a squeaky toy, providing she doesn't crash.
All right, so this probably won't be too long an episode. Like I said, we're just finishing off this one here, but this is a wonderful part 2. Thank you to everybody out there who said that they would be interested in seeing this in some sort of PDF form. I'm going to put this together for all of you to be able to play on your own as a part of your Pokemon adventure. And you can watch for that on Reddit and probably on the Pokemon D&D Discord. Which leads me to my thank you to Mr. @JoeTheDM on Twitter for this wonderful homebrew that we are playing today. And a thank you to Kevin MacLeod for the music, of which you can hear in the background. And thank you to @Uwubi for our player tokens, which you won't see today, but you see every other time. So, how's everyone feel?
And thank you also to our DM.
Yes,
Oh,
thank
that's
you.
very kind. Usually they don't thank me. I just do. To be fair, after this episode, you won't be thanking me.
How am I gonna die? I know it.
Didn't you already send one of us to hell?
He's done that in 2 games now.
All right.
Blair can say hi to Taysherns while she's there.
So, last time, what we had going on here is 3 soon-to-be friends meeting up in a Pokemon Center in the Cedar Ridge Village. This little town nestled between Mount Flag and the Wundoro Mountain region, up in the northwestern corner of Wundoro. Each one responding to a rushed and seemingly distressed message from a shared compadre, Larry, a research aide to the esteemed Professor Larch. Upon arriving in Cedar Ridge Village, however, they discover that there is something more foul afoot. That is, small children going missing. Investigating these disappearances, the team quickly stumbled upon the truth of the matter, and that was ghostly Pokemon snatching children away from the city center and carrying them into the woods, over top of cliffs and trees, and finally depositing them in this fishbowl-type canyon. The party ventured through the woods, chasing after this Drifloon, coming across a mother Ursaring and her cub, and a
Munchkin? But
Munchlax.
that's the one. Not a munchkin.
Fighting their way up a steep cliff that had been made home by a number of Weedle and Beedrill, and finally finding themselves and the children in this canyon, which quickly led to a battle for the children's lives. When we last left, our
Youngest?
you would be Blair was sucked into this dark spot on the map and has disappeared from sight. The rope is taut, and her friends are currently still in the midst of battle with these ghostly Drifloon, unsure of what her fate may be. All right. So, we might as well start top of the round. And that is with Drifloon number 1. Drifloon number 1 is poisoned and immediately shudders, taking a couple points of poison damage. but it is unfazed.
Can you? Would you mind reminding us which Drifloon is which Drifloon?
Yeah.
Not at all. So
1, 2.
this one here is number 1.
Yep.
Actually, I can mark them with a color. Red is 1. This is number 3. Mark that one in green. And this one here is number 2.
1, 2.
I'll mark that one with blue.
Perfect.
There.
Thank you.
There we go. So, Drifloon number 1, strucken by the poison, is going to move downwards towards the aggressive Pokemon. This dog Pokemon growling at it is its first target. It's currently 20 feet in the air, so it's going to move kind of right up above here. And it is going to strike down with an Astonish. And that's going to be a ranged attack. That is a 17 to hit.
That will hit.
All right. So your Houndour is stricken by astonishment. It is going to immediately take 8 points of ghost type damage.
4 points of ghost type damage.
Ooh. Is your Houndour resistant?
My Houndour is resistant to ghost
Very
type damage.
nice. Okay. Followed by the first one, the second Drifloon is going to float around this side of the island. And is going to shoot. Nope, it won't be able to hit. It's going to come back. Is going to move right here and is going to use an Astonish against your Gligar. So that is going to be a 16 to hit.
That will not hit.
Ooh, very good. Due to Gligar's smooth facade, it easily repels the astonishing smirk from this Drifloon. Blair, it is now your go. You are currently disappeared inside this black hole. However,
Holding tight to one rope with a loosely tied rope around me.
that is right.
Okay. What do I see?
Hold on. So you're about 10 feet-ish inside the hole, okay? Held tight to this rope that was thrown to you. All around you, you see almost like a starry, dark landscape. But it's not stationary. It looks like everything is ebbing and flowing, like it's just rushing past you. And you see spectrally flaming sort of entities just bobbing and weaving in this area. It's very cryptic.
No visible bottom.
No visible bottom, no visible top. You can see bits of stone and grass and various stuff that was also sucked in with you, just kind of floating about. A good bit of it has been propelled backwards and away from you, and you can still see more kind of, again, sucked in a little bit as you're hanging on there, just being drugged into the nether.
Ursaring, get me out! So, Chamomile's right there.
Yep.
Chamomile's gonna pull me up.
Sure. Give me a strength. Just a straight... no, athletics.
Athletics.
Give me an athletics roll.
That is a 25.
Wow. Yeah, no problem. Mama Chamomile grabs onto the rope
Mama Chamomile.
and keeps hauling it out. You appear in the spot right next to her as you're sucked out of this hole.
That's her action. So I'm gonna move us both. $30 feet.
Okay.
And can I say that she held onto the rope?
Sure. So you're holding onto a rope. She's holding onto a bit of the rope, and your two friends are tied together at the other end of the rope.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, Callum, you're up.
And I have one loose rope dangling behind me.
Okay. I am going to move. I guess. How far can I move while I'm still tied to?
Still stay within 30 feet of her, I'd say. The rope's 50, and I think Steven said it
Well, the
took up
two of them are
10%.
tied together. They intentionally tied each other
Yeah, but I
together.
thought you said in last stream it took up 10 feet of their rope.
Yep, and the other 40 went to you. So they can move no further than 40 feet away from you. However, together they would have to move 30 feet. So she would have to agree to wherever you're moving.
Okay. Can I command Handor?
Yep.
And then move on Elise's turn?
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Then I will command Houndor to howl. I believe. Let's go with the Pokemon or the number 1.
Awesome. So you're using roar then?
Sorry, roar. Yeah, not howl.
Perfect. Okay, so it's going to need to make a charisma save.
Charisma save against an 11.
That is going to be a 7.
Okay.
All right, so frightened, that Drifloon immediately runs from the battle. You see it drift up into the sky and over the edge of the fishbowl and just disappear.
Motherfucker. Says Melissa.
And then I will move with Elise, and I will let her decide where we're going to move to.
Okay. Drifloon number 2. It's right here. Staring down your Houndor is seeing its friend flee in terror. It's going to move right up to you and try to grab onto you with a constricting grasp. That is going to be a 13 to hit.
On the Houndor?
Yep.
13 will hit.
All right. So you are going to take, as this Drifloon floats down, wrapping its small string-like appendages around the Houndor. Houndor is going to take 3 points of normal type damage and is now grappled and restrained. Elise. Oh, this Drifloon also took damage at the beginning of its turn from poison, because they're all poisoned.
I don't like the looks of that hole.
Yep. Around here.
Are there any loose ropes or anything that we should grab as we go by?
There's one still attached. So I'm holding on to the one you guys tossed me, but there's a loose one that I tried to tie that is attached to me like a big long tail. Because I didn't successfully tie it to the rock.
That's probably fine, right?
Probably.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna see Gligar. Use Poison Sting on that Drifloon in front of you.
Perfect. So the Gligar is going to move upwards towards the Drifloon. And it goes in for a poison sting attack with its stinger.
It's a 7.
It's a 7. 7 does not hit. It's a little overzealous in its approach, and it swoops down, the Drifloon easily floating out of the way. Okay, top of the round, you feel another
Oh, I don't
as
like
the
this.
black hole begins to ebb again. You can see it visibly grow larger and larger. Once the size of maybe a basketball, now it's the size of what would be maybe the ring on Ursaring's belly.
I fell through a basketball-sized hole.
Yep.
That must be pretty tiny.
I need you all to give me a dexterity save as you feel it pulling and you try to grab onto something to hold on.
Including our Pokemon.
Including the Pokemon.
Nice.
Elise is 15. And Gligar is a 21.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, that's I don't think I'm gonna save all with any of those.
Those are the same I rolled, almost.
Houndor is a 6. And Callum is a 5 plus 3 is 8.
Okay.
Ursaring is a 5. Brooke is a... Blair is a 2.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen. Everybody who rolled, so basically everybody except for Gligar is pulled 50 feet closer to this ebbing black hole.
Okay, well, both me and Ursaring are 10 feet in the hole, and Ursaring would have fallen because... Well, no, Ursaring's holding on to the rope, too.
Yeah. And... Okay, so you guys would be like up there. About there. This little guy holding on to you is going to float with you. Okay. Again, each of you been...
What are those?
Can I close them?
How do you close them?
I don't know.
What are you guys looking at?
How do you close the little, the name icons?
Oh,
bottom of roll 20. No.
No, they're like open.
Is it this? Use window pop-outs?
Oh, those ones. They're under settings. So if you go to that spinning gear in the side, top, yeah. There should be an option under there for...
Oh, chat avatars?
I think so. It's
Names
somewhere
only?
in there.
And... Yeah, otherwise yours looks the same as mine.
Found it?
I don't know. Maybe. There you go.
There we go.
Beauty.
Sorry for the distraction.
No, not at all.
Okay, and then I couldn't remember.
All right. Drifloon number 3. Seeing its prey float closer and closer towards the hole here, is going to continue its assault on this Gligar. So it's going to go in for a gust attack this time. As it whooshes, you can see it propel this wind from inside its being just out towards the Gligar. Ooh, that's going to be a 21 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. You are going to take 8 points of flying type damage as your Gligar is struck with this rush of wind. Blair, you once again are thrust into darkness. You and your chamomile. You are
Chamomile.
about...
My comforting chamomile.
I would find being attached to a bear really soothing at this time in my life.
so you're about 25 feet inside the hole.
I can't be.
Why?
I'm tied to them.
Exactly. That's why you're 25, because you can be no more than 40 from them. So that's 15 outside and 25 inside.
No, but from the distance that I moved,
Mm-hmm.
I could only be 10 feet in the hole.
Yeah,
from where
there's
I
no
was.
resistance inside.
Okay.
It's like falling.
Okay.
And to you, it would be. It feels like you're falling this way. In a parallel
Sideways?
sort of direction.
Is there a wall?
No.
There's no floor, wall, ceiling.
No.
No
It's
bush-
just like you're being pulled through space, in a way, into a vacuum.
Okay. Can I... You said there's like weird floaty light things.
Yeah, they're like spectral flames.
Do these spectral flames read anything in my analyst from researcher?
No, they just seem to be moving. They're just sort of floating in the ether. Almost zooming by you, kind of like everything else.
Okay, I'm gonna look at Ursaring and say, one way or another, I think this is ending bad, but let's just do it. And then I'm gonna let go.
Okay.
And Ursaring will follow suit.
Okay. Callum, you feel as the rope, which was taut, go a little limp, still being pulled through this black hole, for lack of a better word, but it doesn't have the same resistance on the end.
Because it had a bear.
I turn to Elise. They're hurt. They're gone. I don't know. I think they're gone. They might be gone forever.
Bad Blair. It's not my turn.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Oh, sorry. I missed that. I was just like, I say that.
You're RPing. Meanwhile, you're like, wait.
I'm frozen in place, waiting for Peter to end his turn.
You're stuck in the moment.
Frozen in a moment in time. She's sleeping.
Yeah, Houndor's the drift bloom that's surrounding Houndor.
Okay.
How do I break out of that? Is it just like a strength, or
Yep, it's a strength save.
is that going to be an action?
Uh,
Break it?
It is an action.
Okay.
No, at the beginning of its turn, it may attempt to break.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, never
let's
mind.
start that off first.
Okay.
That'll be a non-natural 20.
A non-natural 20, no problem. Your Houndor sort of jumps in place, bucking off this little Drifloon. Like any balloon, you don't imagine it's terribly strong.
Then Houndor is going to move back. His movement is somewhere on my sheet. Where is it? 30 feet. There we go. 30 feet. And then the green Drifloon is going to get an Ember spit at it.
Very good. As this dog hops back, coughs up this fireball,
That will
spits
be
it out.
12 to hit.
A 12 just hits.
Just hits.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Roll some damage.
That will be 4 damage.
Okay,
Only fire type.
perfect. It strikes the Drifloon pretty straight on, causing a minor burn to it that flares off. The Drifloon looks none too happy with that.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay. Are you doing anything else?
Callum's gonna move on Elise's turn.
Okay. Drifloon number 2 is immediately going to take damage at the start of its turn. As it struggles with the poison. And then it is going to move towards the Gligar to continue its attack. It is going in for a constrict attack.
Fight me, bro.
It will. Ooh, but that is only a 9. As it sort of dives in from above, it goes to wrap its small string-like appendages around the Gligar, and the Gligar easily maneuvers itself away. Elise.
I don't know. I can't really say I'm a tough girl. If I just leave her in that hole by herself, I'm going in. And I'm gonna grab Gligar.
Okay.
And I'm gonna start moving towards the hole, and Callum, you're coming with me.
Yeah, you're dragging me with you.
I am brawny. So I'm gonna get as far into the hole as I can.
Okay. If you're going into the hole, are you taking your Houndor with you, or are you leaving it as you jump into the hole?
Oh, Houndor will definitely follow me.
Okay. Because as a point of
Houndor
order,
has
you
done
did.
their full movement though, so.
True. However, you saved your action or your movement. I would say you could also have saved his bonus action. No, it takes a full action to recall. Never mind. So you move in. You figure he's just gonna follow behind you then.
Yeah.
Okay. So both of you dive into the hole. Gligar following. Gligar is gonna take 2 attacks of opportunity
Follow me, Houndor!
as it goes to move. The first attack is a. It's gonna be a 16.
That will not hit.
Okay. The second one, it goes in for
It's
another constrict attack.
So solid.
Ooh, and that is a 9.
That will also not hit.
Both of them trying to grab at your Gligar as it's reefed out of their appendages
Gligar is tank.
into the darkness.
Gligar's also poisoned.
What is Gligar's AC right now?
It's a 19. Smooth facade. I highly recommend.
Okay.
Good move. So precious,
My real life Houndor is sound asleep at my side.
No.
And we died.
Little
Guys,
butter.
that-
Aw.
We died. It's too pleasant to music. We died.
As you are hurled into the darkness, you see the tiniest of shape in front of you. This little girl plummeting. Likewise, you. It feels like you're falling from the sky, and all around you is darkness and little specks of light. Bits of rock and grass and whatnot tumble around, pulled in likewise to you. And you continue to fall and fall and fall. And then it feels like gravity is just wrong. It's not acting as it should. And you're not really falling down. You're kind of being propelled towards something.
This is a very peculiar phenomenon.
Around you, you see these small spectral flames that are just kind of flickering in and out, in and out. And they're almost like they're chasing you and then dispersing and rearranging themselves. More natural phenomena than something living. Just something all about.
We did.
Elise is thinking to herself, don't show how shittingly scared you are.
The sensation is almost peaceful if it wasn't so otherworldly. There is no sound. It is just vacuum. In fact, the only sound that there is probably the sound of yourself screaming. Your Gligar. You can hear the sound of a bear moaning somewhere in the distance.
That is a bad time having Bear.
You continue to fall and fall and fall and fall. And then the world is suddenly righted as you feel your feet touching on something hard and sturdy. You look down to see this gray.
We like land
sort
on our
of-
feet.
Yeah.
Gravity went wonky.
To see this gray sort of landform broken into islands. You see long, sundered buildings like castles and brick sort of formations, none of which fully formed, all of which torn, like the ghosts of buildings, like you've just entered into some sort of ghost world. All around you there are bits of movement, none of it something alive per se, just more of these spectral flames just flickering about. The three of you looking around. Callum landing behind Elise, who touched down just mere moments after Blair did. Chamomile looks incredibly confused and more than a little frightened. It kind of snuffles and looks down at you,
I try and comfort her. This is particularly odd, wouldn't you say?
I think we're gonna be fine. We should look around some.
I agree. There might be some cool dark Pokemons here too.
Of course you would say that. Let's go that direction. And I point towards whatever is the tallest building I can see.
Sure. You see almost like the gateway to a castle looming in front of you, a
Before
good
we
distance
leave,
off.
I am waiting for Houndour to show up.
Sure. You give yourselves a couple more moments, and eventually you hear the sound of...
Dog plummeting through space on his own.
As you look up, you reach out your arms almost in time to just catch him in your arms as he comes flying through the air. He looks a little worse than where. No worse per se than when you left him, but certainly frightened. Your Gligar seemingly is attached itself to your back, just holding on there. It's buried its face in the back of your neck.
I give Houndour some good pets as we're walking along.
Yeah,
He just whines.
dismiss Gligar because he's poisoned. And I'll follow Rhyhorn instead.
Are they scared because they are confused, or is there like almost like a knowingness to their behavior?
Give me a Pokemon handling check.
12.
12? It's hard to say. I mean, you've seen frightened Pokemon. Your bear,
He's
your
pretty new.
Ursaring,
Yeah.
is a new friend. Like, you don't know her terribly well. It's hard to read her. You're not sure if she's just averse to frightening situations or what the case is.
Mesh Beans isn't frightened.
Mashed beans must be very brave.
Just pull out the biggest, toughest looking Pokemon I have. And I stand really close to Rhyhorn as we walk.
You notice Rhyhorn walks. You don't hear the thunderous footsteps from underneath her. Or him? I don't know. Is Mash Beans a boy or a girl?
I haven't asked Mash Beans. That's Mash Beans' personal information to deal with.
Fair enough. As they move, seemingly soundless on the ground, like it's walking on the tips of their toes. But you notice they're not moving any different than they typically do. It's just that everything here seems to be quieter.
I'm just going to pretend I
Simpler.
don't notice that at all.
It kind of looks up at you a little disconcerted.
It's okay, Mash Beans. We got this. We just need to find who's in charge, and then we'll tell him to put us back where we came from.
Sounds like a reasonable plan. I sure hope Willow's okay. I left Willow with the small children.
We'll get back to Willow. It'll be fine.
I appreciate your optimism.
It's not optimism if you can make it come true.
I ponder that.
I pet Houndour.
You quickly come to the edge of this small island that you're on. The island itself is maybe a 20 by 20 foot square, but there are multiple other ones, each one just as lifeless as the last, with this dull gray earth, little bits of rubble.
Is there any
attached
signs
to
of
each.
life around?
Give me a
like-
perception check.
You were a dink. You were a dink. Let's see how dinkish you are. Less dinkish. 15.
15. You look all about you, and again, you see the flicker of flames. You see the twinkle of light somewhere distant in the darkness. Life is not... It's just not about. There's not the gust of wind. There's not the sound of leaves or insects or the typical flora and fauna that you're used to.
No Pokemon.
There's just total absence from what you can see, or hear, or taste, or smell.
What's in between the islands?
Darkness. Absolute nothing.
And how far is it between the islands?
It sort of varies. You note that as you're walking and you're coming close to one, it almost floats by. Nothing is quite stationary here. Everything is moving in its own time. You could liken it to different objects moving in space, in a vacuum. You're not sure what initially propelled them or gave them their current rate of movement, but they're all moving at their own rate.
Can we deduce if any of them will come close enough to be able to safely jump across?
Certainly. At any point in time, there's another one moving. They all seem to just miss each other as they do, just passing each other, moving about in this space. You watch one as it just disappears somewhere off into the distance.
Does there seem to be any sort of discernible center?
Not
Are they
really.
orbiting something?
They kind of float in and then leave in the same path. They're not moving in sort of a rotation. They're moving just in straight lines.
I'm going to take out my Pokemon beeper.
Okay.
And I am going to send a message to Larry. That's his name, right?
It is. What are you going to send him?
I'm going to send... how many words can it be? Because it's a beeper.
Mm-hmm.
So how many words can it be?
More like letter. Think like a tweet.
Well, tweets are a lot longer now than they used to be.
Original tweet.
Like 140 characters.
Strange place in the hole. Get out. Find Officer Jenny.
You push the button. You assume that it's sent.
And then I'm going to try not to show extra concern.
Did you ask for a confirmation on that Poke message?
No. And then I write, please confirm.
Send.
Look, guys, in an emergency, we don't know if people are coming. We gotta keep moving.
Yeah.
What if we're on an island that just, like, floats off into space?
What if we're in space?
I think then we would die.
I don't know.
Maybe
you
we
get to
are
space?
dead.
Well, that would be a real problem for me, because I'm gonna be a famous Pokemon champion. So let's solve this problem.
I poked myself in the chest. I'm like, I don't feel dead right now.
Only emotionally.
Fair point.
I'm still gonna, like, continue to move towards any kind of discernible landmark I can pick up.
That big castle-y thing that we are currently headed to. Is there any difference in, like, lighting sources? Like, something lives there. Or additional movement.
Give me another perception check.
You were a dink, you were a dink, you were less of a dink. Let's try one of you. Less of a dink. 16.
16. You watch this castle. You watch the broken windows. You see the shape and the bricks that have been torn from it. And you see almost like a shadow pass from one to the other. And then on the other side, another shadow pass.
Did anybody else see that? There's shadows passing by the windows in that big castle thing over there.
Look, I am busy looking for ways to help us. I don't need your pessimism. I'm sure it's fine. Let's just keep moving towards the castle, which is totally not haunted, because this is totally not the afterlife.
But weren't the Driflooms a ghost? So isn't this place probably haunted?
Yeah, but it's okay. Houndor will just keep us safe. He's super resistant to ghost type damage.
I stand close to Chamomile and say, I think Chamomile's immune. Proceed to keep walking, and I'm going to keep an extra close eye on the windows.
As you keep moving towards this castle, you see another bit of land move towards you, and you kind of rush over the edge of your current island onto it and continue forward as it slowly creeps by.
If I...
You keep moving and you catch another smaller landmass, and you each individually jump over to it. Movement here is free. It's easy. It is so easy to move, to be.
If I get close enough, or as we get close, if I can start determining more of those figures that I see, I want to try and analyze them with my researcher skill to see if I can determine anything about their characteristics.
Sure.
As you say, movement is easy. I'm curious as to if gravity is the same. Like, what if we jump? We try and jump super high.
Sure. Try and jump.
Would you like me to roll for that?
Just give me a straight athletics roll.
Athletics or acrobatics?
Your call. Either or.
That will be a 12.
A 12. Acrobatics?
Acrobatics.
Okay. You move to do a cartwheel. A simple enough task. Something that Callum's done many of time, and likewise you perform it. You don't perform any better than you typically would in your regular life, but somehow it just feels easier. The simple act of doing is just so simple. You feel freed.
That's unnerving.
Do you still feel living?
Yes. That was the sound of me poking myself in the chest many times in a row. If you didn't hear that.
And you're watching for movement inside.
Yeah, I'm watching for the movement inside and trying to see if I can investigate anything with my analyst researcher thing, if we get close enough to determine anything about the Pokemon, like characteristics.
Sure. Well, you keep moving towards this.
Yeah.
This shape, this building in the distance. Moving from island to island, deftly even. And you get the very strong sense that whatever you're looking at inside that castle isn't a Pokemon. These movements maybe are brought upon by something, maybe a Pokemon, but what you're seeing itself is not a Pokemon.
How far off are we from this house thing?
It's probably still another 200, 300 feet in the distance. It's hard to judge exact distance because you're not moving right at a straight line, right? Your trajectory differs as you're catching island to island. You also note as you're getting closer, even though you're trying to keep pace, it's getting a little bit harder for you to keep your mind on the task at hand. You're moving, but then your purpose becomes a little less. You feel light, a little carefree. You no longer feel maybe so rushed. And then you remind yourself, maybe we need to keep moving. So you speed up your pace, and then you just kind of sort of forget.
So we feel high as balls.
Would Callum have ever gone high before?
Have you huffed a Pokemon?
Wow.
You had a friend with a coughing who used to let you hit that?
You know what coughings are like.
Do we have any form of writing utensil?
We're researchers. I'd be very surprised if we didn't.
I would be too.
I would think you would. in your
Okay.
backpack.
Like a pen?
Yeah.
I assume we
I think
could
that's
just
simple
make
enough.
notes in our Pokedex.
Mhm.
I would
Isn't
assume
that
so.
the purpose of a Pokedex ultimately?
When Blair starts
Absolutely.
to
Could be
feel
a memo
like
option.
she's losing track of what they're doing, I'm going to write on my arm, keep moving towards the castle. Don't forget.
Do I have a Sharpie?
Do you have a Sharpie?
Yeah.
You would have a pen or a writing implement of some sort.
I'd like to.
Specifically a marker? I feel like that's something you would carry
I'm
around.
gonna find
Makes sense.
some scrap of paper.
Sure.
And my Sharpie, and I'm gonna pin a note to the back of Callum that says, "Keep going to the castle."
Okay. And you just make sure Callum's always in front of you?
Well, I feel like if I'm not acting in my most normal self, I would let Callum get in front of me, and then I would be reminded that I was leading us to the castle.
Callum, every now and then as you're moving, you find your Houndor starting to wander a little bit. It looks up at you, it looks over at a small plume of flame, and sort of walks haphazardly towards it, remembers you and moves back towards you, and then kind of rushes ahead a little bit, digs in the ground a little bit, and then stops, looks back, remembers you, and moves back towards you.
Are they all
dutifully.
doing
I'm-
similar things?
You know, Chamomile kind of catches sort of maybe a
I just needed
smell.
a yes because I want him to answer.
Yeah, I would say so.
I am getting worried about Houndor, so
Sure.
I am going to call Houndor back into his Pokeball.
Okay, Houndor disappears inside the Pokeball.
I
Seeing
figure that is the safer place to keep our Pokemon just in case they do wander off or lose their.
Yeah.
connection
seeing
to
that
us.
Chamomile is behaving in a similar way and that Callum returned his Pokemon, I'm going to do the same.
And the Ursaring disappears inside the Pokeball.
I'm gonna wait to the very last second to acknowledge that we're getting off task and do the same thing with mashed beans.
Sure. Can I get a strength saving throw from you?
Possibly. A 9.
A 9. You note as Mash Beans is currently more than a little distracted. Totally forgets that you're even there and just kind of bowls you over. Just steps right over top of you. You're knocked to your knees. And you take...
This is not an acceptable way for a professional Pokemon to act, mashed beans.
You take 6 points of normal damage as it just kind of walks over top of you. Not intentionally hurting you, but it doesn't even seem to realize that you're there until you call out, and then it stops, gets off, and kind of comes over towards you, nuzzling you with their horn, and then it gives you a big lick.
I forgive mashed beans as I hold my shattered ribs. It's okay, mashed beans. This place is weird. Maybe you should go back into your Pokeball, and I'll recall.
Okay. And Mash Beans disappears inside the Pokeball.
So we're slowly kind of losing track of what we're trying to do.
Mhm.
And as close as we try to get to this building, does it seem like we're making any sort of progression?
Absolutely. Slow, but steady. You've maybe moved on to the 150, 200 foot range at this point in time. As you keep trudging forward.
And is anything about
150, 200 feet from the castle? Or
From the
where
castle.
we started?
From where you've started, maybe 500 feet.
is there any change in the environment that may be causing us to feel such a way? Like more pressure, lack of oxygen?
Give me an investigation roll.
I would like to inspire my friends to continue trying to reach that castle.
There's a 10?
That's a 10?
Yeah.
You're not even sure there's air. Like, you can't even remember the last time you breathed. Just thinking about it. You're like, huh. And then you start breathing right then, but it's kind of like those just baser functions when you're not thinking about it. Are you really doing it?
Now I'm aware of my tongue in my mouth.
That's... the one thing you do note as you're looking around for signs
Now I am. Jill.
life of movement of how this place works, you turn behind you, and even with the heavy footsteps of Mash Beans before, you don't see any footprints left in the dirt behind you.
It's okay. I wasn't going home anyways. Let's keep going, guys. We have to get to the castle to do the thing.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
To find dark Pokemon?
Yeah, there are. They're dark Pokemon, and I bet there's a library, and I bet, like, there's probably, like, I don't know,
I'm fairly certain those dark shapes weren't Pokemon.
Well, then why are we going?
maybe they're people. People that could help us. They can't make it any worse. Look, I am going and I'm speaking to the person who is in charge, and I am getting out of this hole, and I am going to do a thing
Yes.
over there.
Wait, kids?
Wait a second. But go to castle. We're going to the castle, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holds her
Let's
arm
see
up.
how far we can make towards the castle based on that.
Okay. You each steel yourselves as you continue forward. Each island slowly floating past one another. You step up them like big, lofty steps, moving closer and closer and closer. This task feels almost insurmountable as you continue. And yet at the same time, the easiest thing you've ever done. It feels like it's unattainable, but moving is just so easy. It's not a chore to continue, but it's going to take you forever. But that's okay, because you have forever.
Do I remember sending the message?
Yes.
I'm going to look and see if I got a message back.
Sure. You look. You see your outgoing messages. You see the initial message that brought you to Cedar Ridge Village. But you don't see any new messages.
What you doing?
He didn't respond back.
To what?
Did you ask him to respond back in your message?
In a separate message?
Maybe that message shouldn't get through?
Look, we are in a pretty weird place. Maybe your reception isn't very good here.
Yeah, I don't see any cell towers. Maybe we need to find a landline.
Like the castle? She
That's
looks
like a
down on her
house.
arm.
They have phones.
They might be rich. They probably have lots of phones.
Rich people live in castles.
Continue.
Okay. As you continue forward, you suddenly see what appears to be some sort of movement in front of you. Unlike the flames itself, there's a little more purpose to it. You see a flicker, like a number of the flames, but with discernible arms and legs.
What is
A
that?
head
I'm
and
going
a
to try and
face.
analyze it.
Decidedly not a Pokemon. And as it comes closer and closer into the view, it's almost like staring at a reflection in the bathroom mirror.
Hell no.
When the mirror itself is fogged over from the steam. It's just a shape. But it's directly in front of you. All three of you. Not imposing, not seeming to stop you. If anything, it's standing there almost anxiously, nervously.
Well, these are the first people we've seen in a really long time, and I've got some words to say because I'm not enjoying being lost at all.
I'm going to reach out and touch it.
I feel like this is probably a good time for us to take our break.
We're so freaking dead.
Getting all sick sense up in here. I woke up the puppy.
Oh, Butter!
Puppy's
Poor
like,
Butter.
why the hell did everybody just wake me up?
She's so good too. She just kind of lied down and she was
It's
like,
also
"Okay."
really little.
So this is D&D?
She's also a puggle, and they're supposed to be really
Pretty
kind of
bomb-proof.
chill.
Like people, like strangers, don't really bark. Like
Sounds like
kids.
My friend
Crinkling of her nose.
owns her sister.
Oh, really?
So we
Her
know what she'll turn out like.
from a
when she's-
different litter.
Okay.
And her sister runs around like a crazy person for about 15 minutes, and then just goes and lies down
Aw.
and hangs out.
How old?
I think she's 5 or 6 at this point.
Okay.
Precious.
So yeah, you'd have a really good indication of.
Mhm.
I mean, temperaments can obviously vary between animal to animal, but
Buff, buff. Buff, buff.
she's
But her
got the
seems
same parents as Miley.
wow.
And as my friend claimed, not named after the singer, but nobody believes him on that because he loves the singer Miley Cyrus.
The dog hugged me.
The dog did. Like, leaned into that.
Just snuggled the boob.
That's I need to send you a picture moment.
Are you looking at all my chins that I have to make?
Did we get any comments from our non-expectant viewers? Because nobody knew this was going to happen today.
That was a surprise.
No. That's okay.
It was a surprise.
It was
We get all
Our-
the later ones. Later views.
our unplanned video.
Oh, she's so precious.
Yes, lick my chin hairs. Ladies have chin hairs too. It's fine. You get them when you get old.
Yep. When you hit second puberty.
Yeah, if you have them, it's completely normal.
Yeah. Yeah, you go
Butter's got all kinds of chin hairs.
you go through
She's an
first
absolute
puberty
lady.
and then you go through second puberty where you get like hairs on your face that weren't there before. I believe Jenna Marbles has a whole video that talks about second puberty.
Second puberty.
Yeah.
The great life change.
You mean the metal paws?
Haha.
Not the metal paws. I am too young for the metal paws.
The metal pause where you just go through like a really heavy metal phase. Because I did that when I was like 16.
Yeah.
Like, woke up one day and just wanted to listen to like a ton of hate breeds.
Yeah. The metal paws.
I was really hot then too, so that works.
You make sounds. Oh, puppy goes.
Aw.
She makes little squeaks every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
I enjoyed having puppies. I really enjoy always having kitties, though. There
See,
was something
I'm the
about kittens
opposite.
that were
I
just
love
so
a
easy.
puppy.
They were always there when you wanted to play with them. But like cats, they just kind of took care of themselves and did their own thing, and then harassed you every now and then. Whereas puppies are, I mean, dogs need to be tended to and cared for, and I don't know. I wonder.
They need attention.
Yeah,
I love puppies.
which was great when you wanted to, but when you didn't, it's like, oh no, dogs just
Well,
stop
Butter is going
dogging.
to get so much attention in her life because she is going to be an office puppy.
Yep, she gets
That
to go to
works.
the office every day.
Hmm.
Yep.
Which is why she needs goggles, so she can ride the bike.
I am Salvador's smother, not his mother. His smother. As I smother him with love, and he needs to take it. It doesn't.
I've already assigned like ridiculous pet names to all of her like relatives. Like she's got a Baba and a Mama. And when she goes to Peter's mom's house, she goes to see her Mima. Do we go to Mima's house? I'm sorry. I
Did
do
you
not have-
hear that precious noise she just made?
I don't produce milk for dogs. I'm sorry.
She already tried to bite your boob.
The joys of parenthood.
She was full on looking for milk in my belly button earlier today.
And she's slowly fading out there. Eyes are closed now.
This has been a very long day for her, I bet.
Yeah.
She had her airplane ride. She went to the pet store. She licked so many chins. She went to my work. She went to Opa.
Opa.
She went to Mima's house and fell in a pool.
To be fair, she slept through the trip to Opa.
Aww.
She's
Life
a
is
precious
sweet.
Why are
Nori.
you keeping me awake, Mom Sound?
I'm not keeping her awake.
You gotta keep her awake now so she'll sleep through the night. It's like a baby.
Bite him. Just bite him. It'll make you feel better.
Is this the first time she's kind of been alone, or did she have her litter mates
She
before?
always had her litter. Yeah, and there was 7 of them. So.
No other puppies.
She's so precious. I can't wait to see all the butter spam
The butter
on
spam?
Jillian's Instagram.
She has her own Instagram. Butter.puggle. Butter.puggle.
Well, this is the place to...
You heard it here first. I've been putting up pictures of her as the breeder son,
Butter. That is butter.
which adopt don't shop, but our apartment had really strict rules about size that we couldn't guarantee with adoption.
It's butter dot puggle.
The dot puggle.
The.
Oh God, what's wrong with you? Nothing that licking a nose can't fix. Milk doesn't come out of me. I'm really sorry. Here, let's bite something.
Following butter.
Following butter the dot puggle.
Yeah.
Is that DOT or a actual dot?
No, it's an actual dot. Butter period. The period puggle.
Can't wait for butter spam.
Well, because I have friends who have already been like, you need to send every picture. And my mom's in Ontario, in Ottawa, and she's like, I want to see like my furry grandchild, because no one has produced a pink grandchild. So I was like, just follow the Instagram. It's easier than mass spamming everyone like every day.
Pretty naturey days.
Are we ever gonna make it to this castle, guys?
Never.
I feel like we should sit down and eat some like snacks and just like have a nap, and then we'll probably be fine.
I think we're dead. I think my impulsive decision to go down into the hole because I didn't see myself getting out
I think
was impulsive.
the vacuum of the hole would have continued to get stronger and bigger.
Well,
It was us or like the entire surrounding area.
yeah, I was kind of like,
Is what
okay,
I'm telling
well,
myself.
I'm like, I can keep moving, like climbing out of this hole and moving, but the further it continues to pull me down, the less I'm getting out of the hole, and I don't have a good dex. Ursaring doesn't have a good dex. Like, I'm going down this hole, and I have one choice. Well, 2 choices. Blair can either be like, I need to get the fuck out of this hole repeatedly, or say, this could be an interesting investigation. Interesting. I can't speak lately. An interesting adventure where I can learn some things and investigate a new place.
Once that hole started widening, I was like, well, we gotta go down it now.
So I bit the bullet first for everyone.
Thanks.
I'm like, well, I'm going down. They can make the choice to leave me or not.
In here now.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, someone had to be the first one in the hole.
Yep. Yep. I was fighting a losing battle.
Your mind is so dirty, Julia.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so how do we feel?
Let's do it.
Anybody need a bio break?
No, I'm being chewed on by a dog currently.
No.
Okay.
Ow! She is pointy.
Okay.
So I reached out and I touched it.
You don't touch anything, and it's not like your hand goes through it, or even to it. It's like
It's like
space
meeting
is this
resistance?
weird construct. You go to touch it, and even though your hand should be where it is, it's almost like it's now not there.
My hand's just not there?
No, the figure itself
Oh.
is not where you immediately perceived it to be. It's just beyond that.
Do they seem to react to her interaction?
Nope. Not at all.
I'm gonna walk through mine in front of me
Sure.
and just like stop on the other side and see how I feel about that.
I'm going to observe how hers responds.
As you go to move towards it, again, similarly to like when she tried to put her hand through it or to touch it, as you approach the figure, it is always beyond where you initially perceived it to be. So even though you're moving towards it and you know that you're gaining ground on it, foot by foot by foot, somehow always just beyond you.
And they very clearly look like us. Like,
Not-
looking at them, I'm
not
like, oh, yeah, that's
specifically.
totally them.
No, just nondescript figures.
Of similar size and shape.
Yeah.
Are there expressions on their face?
You can't make out expressions. It's almost like a blur. You see the vague shape of a figure, a person. You can sort of make out, but you don't see expressions. You don't see a face or a mouth, just a general head shape. You see limbs that you would describe as arm-like and legs that are clearly legs, and a torso, and it's all the right proportions, but it's like a fuzz. It's like a blur.
I'm gonna do my best indignant 15-year-old girl who wants to speak to management. See if that has any effect.
Do you have a can I see your manager haircut? Can I speak with your manager?
You hear
Like, yeah. Maybe.
Maybe.
When I get older, I'm gonna change my name to Karen.
Karen.
you hear a voice emanate from each one of them. Just this resounding, sort of breathy. Welcome.
Well, they seem inviting.
Who are you? What are we doing here? What is this place?
And again, each one in unison gives off this sound. You have arrived.
Well, clearly, we want to speak to whoever is in charge of that castle.
This is your destination.
Are you in charge of the castle?
Yes, that's why we came here. We know this is our destination. Now can we speak to whoever's inside the castle, please?
There is a hole up there, and it is growing, and it is sucking things in, and I'm pretty sure that's not natural, and I am just like, it's been a really long day, so I would appreciate it if it could stop.
Could be nothing more natural in the world.
Does this happen a lot?
Endlessly.
Then how does this one stop? Because there are children up there, and I am not okay with them being down here. There is no food, there's no beds, there is no way of keeping them safe. Our Pokemons are wandering off.
It makes my head feel funny.
Fear
I don't like
not.
feeling that way.
We all have our time.
You saying we're dead?
They don't answer you.
Yeah, but this isn't our time.
Our time to do what?
They kind of gaze at you. You see each one of them, the head sort of swivel and look at this center figure, Elise. And they sort of ask you in unison, what is there for you left?
I've got my whole life ahead of me. I'm going to raise the toughest Pokemon I can. I'm going to show all my sisters that just because I'm the littlest doesn't mean they can boss me around. I'm going to make my mom proud and my island proud, and then I'm going to be the strongest Pokemon champion that this world has ever seen.
You feel immediately scrutinized. Like the weight of all of their opinion, their judgment, the weight of not just theirs, but your parents, your friends, your companions around you, all on you. And you feel small, like you're not good enough, that Your reason is maybe not unattainable, but it's just beyond you, and now it's gone, and maybe it's just time to let go. Maybe this is just the end. Can I get you to make a charisma save?
You cannot believe in yourself. Let me believe in you.
17. You fight the impulse to just, for lack of a better word, float. You felt so light, and now you feel
I was also
rooted.
proficient in charisma saves.
Yes, you are.
So another 2.
Nice.
Or it's a +3 at this stage, right?
Yes.
So not natural 20.
Even better. You feel a surge of confidence. Like, yeah, that was a good answer. That is a perfectly fine reason to being.
I've
That is
heard
my
this before, though.
reason for being. And the figures regard you. And then they turn their scrutiny to the next figure. And they look at Callum.
Who is chewing on his Houndour's ear.
And they say, "What would you have to return to?"
I need to prove that the Absol is not a walking disaster. She's actually a sweet and nice Pokemon.
Can you give me a charisma save?
I can certainly try.
See, rolls the puppy.
Oh.
Natural.
That's a natural 20.
You guys.
-2. 18.
Now if I fail, this is sad.
That is probably the greatest reason in the world. You're filled with absolute determination. You're entirely convinced that this could not be your time. There's so much waiting for you left.
Of course.
You have a mission.
Of course.
And then their heads move in unison,
Do you need to hold the puppy for luck?
looking towards the last figure.
Touch the puppy for luck.
And the figures say, "What does it all mean to you?"
Well, first off, I'm 12 years old. I plan to live a very long life and hopefully achieve some really great things. I've been training most of my life in alchemy, understanding natural things, and I want to use those skills to help trainers and research new things about Pokemon to help us better understand them. I want to bring change.
Give me a charisma save.
It's 21.
21.
Butter brings luck.
Each one of you feels reassured in your purpose, in your being, in your reason, in your mission. You feel a surge of confidence and determination. You remember the children waiting for you outside. You remember why you came here and what you're doing here. You remember falling helplessly through this black hole, landing in this strange place, moving this whole way, forgetting yourself, your reason, your purpose. But now you feel heavy. You feel rooted. You feel so very alive. And you see flickers of flame all around you, close and then distant, and then close and then more distant. All around, like a billion stars in the sky.
Now that I am remembering my purpose, and since I was definitely like, these are Driftlooms, do I believe this is an ability or trick that a Drifloom or evolution would play?
Give me an insight check.
was a 5.
5. You don't know?
I think this is part of what they were saying about the Drifloons taking people to the underworld and then never coming back. Maybe it's because they gave up. Because they didn't know who they were and they just wandered off.
They're stealing the children, and the children are wandering off willingly.
But
They
what
get drugged down here.
if they brought them here and they didn't know how to be tough
They're
and their purpose like we do?
We're younger and more innocent than us. This is cruel. But
We gotta stop whatever is causing this because there are kids up there.
I agree.
You say this and you kind of... You can't see it, but you sense that the figures themselves are smiling. And you see them each reach out their hands towards each other, hold each other's hands. And then it's almost like they lift off the ground, 1 inch, 2 inch,
Can I
and then
analyze it now?
dissipate.
Was it a Pokemon?
It was not a Pokemon. And as they disappear, you hear another sound. You look towards the castle entrance, this archway, and you see this purple shape open up in front of it. And you hear the sound of rushing air. You hear the sound almost like somebody is blowing up a balloon. And it grows louder and louder. Just
Saving the children?
I feel like we should get some Pokemon.
I'm going to, when I say save the children, I'm going to grab both of their hands, and then I'm going to throw out, afterwards, after letting go, throw out Mandrake.
okay. And this Nidorino appears in front of you. As each one of you tosses a Pokeball to the ground, you see this purple figure appear from this wave of pink and purple, this almost wormhole that has now appeared in front of this dark castle archway, and out floats this round, bulbous figure. You see 4 tendrils float off each side of it, sort of waving in non-existent wind, almost like it's floating on a breeze. You see it sort of puff itself, its whole body, sort of breathing, as you hear this continued as it moves up through this wormhole type orifice, and then you see it's joined by 2 other small balloon-like shapes. Can I get you guys to both roll initiative?
All initiative?
All of you? All of you?
That is so
All of you?
Yours is cocked.
Yeah. It's a 4, 5, a 4.
Okay, so appearing before you, 2 more Drifloon, and they are accompanied by something larger. Let me find your figures. Let's move you here. And bap bap here. And here. Which Pokemon did you throw out?
Can you put Spicy Fiesta on my ponytail, please?
Spicy Fiesta. Which one's Mandrake, Melissa?
I already put them up.
Okay.
You also already said, because you said Nidorino, which is accurate.
That puppy has passed back.
Nidorino is not my ideal, but I do need them to tank a bit of damage before I send out Ursaring just to absorb hits. Because Ursaring is paralyzed.
All life is suffering.
And Bellsprout isn't gonna do shit.
Not only has the puppy passed out, the puppy has passed out face first.
I also only have 3 Pokemon because Eevee is up top. Because I didn't expect to be sucked in a hole before I got to recall him.
Nobody expects to be sucked into a hole.
Yeah.
So this one should have.
So is this blackness like a giant chasm?
It is deep and endless. You don't know where it would go if you were to step off.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea. Let's see here. This one is. Gotcha. This one is actually 2.
Stack 'em shit.
Okay, so. Are my initiatives. Okay, anybody over 20?
Yes.
Ooh,
Nice.
22.
Callum is ready for this.
I rolled a 19.
Nice.
Okay, anybody 15 to 20?
I am a 17.
Nice. This is the most hyped you guys have been to fight in. Well, this
Nah,
whole time.
just wait till you get to me.
I want to speak to the Strixbloom's manager.
Think you found it. What are you?
4.
Okay. Let me just do this.
Why is life so hard? Poor Blair.
It's okay. I'm gonna focus my energy up a shit ton, and then I'm gonna crit this motherfucker with Peck, because fighting would be a bad idea.
Just gonna peck it so hard.
Go for the eyes.
Well, focus energy increases my crit numbers by each time I stack it for a total of 5, meaning I can crit on a 15. So let's do this, beach.
Okay, so Callum, you see these Pokemon floating in front of you in this ether. You see this almost wormhole-like apparition in front of you that has just shot forth this balloon-like apparition. What are you going to do?
I'm going to command Houndour to roar at the Driftloom on the left.
Okay, so your Houndour is going to roar. What's the save? Charisma save?
Charisma save 11.
Okay. You are no longer in your home plane. As your Houndour roars, the sound echoes and echoes and echoes, seemingly off nothing. It just bounces off the small rocky formations, and it strikes the Driftloom. You can see the vibrations roll through its rubbery-like form, but it seems unmoved. It saved with a natural 20.
Okay.
Are you doing anything else?
Yeah, Houndour is going to move over there.
Okay.
Callum's, I don't know, gonna move there.
Awesome. All right. So you guys shuffle about on top of these floating islands. Elise.
All right, Spicy Fiesta. Let's show them what we got. And Spicy Fiesta is gonna move forward. And she's gonna aim at the same Driftbloom, and we're gonna do Ember.
Okay.
Like as far
Nice.
I should probably throw inside of the dice tray. It's a 15.
15 hits. As this small horse runs forward, you hear the clack of its hooves on the ground as fire flares
I'm gonna
down
take
its mane.
7 points of damage.
Perfect. Nice. Striking the side of this drift bloom. Awesome. And then this large form starts shuddering. It looks around at all of you, and it sees the two smaller ones being stricken. Both of them seem to be the same ones that you had encountered before, both carrying heavy wounds, a bit of poison. They are none too well. Standing exactly where it is, you see its tendrils move out about it,
Oops.
and you see
I was trying to
You
drag
see
it.
Blair graffiti the area with a spray can.
I grabbed the wrong tool, and then I was like, why isn't it working?
you feel this shiver travel down your spine, and you feel this wind start to blow, emanating from this Pokemon. And it's almost like there's a scream just somewhere in the air. Drift Blim makes its attack with a... that's gonna be... That's going to be a 15 on your Ponyta to hit.
That's what heat.
Okay. Your Ponyta is going to take... $16 points of ghost-type damage as it is struck with some sort of spectral, ominous wind. It wickers and stamps its feet. The second Drift Bloom is going to start moving towards you. Is going to move to right here, and you see it start pumping out this noxious sort of gas. This wind starts blowing from inside of it, and it shoots towards your Houndour. It's making a gust attack at you, and that is going to be a natural 20 to hit you.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. You're going to take... Oh, 2 ones. Cool. So that's going to be 6 points of flying type damage as it sort of half-heartedly blows this wind at your Houndour. Blair.
Okay. I need to ask a few questions. One.
Yeah.
The terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Would Pokemon technically have to jump, say, from like here to here?
No, I would say you could move, between these areas because they're all touching. You
Okay.
could probably move between here and here and here. And I would even say here.
But this would be potentially a jump.
Yeah, you'd have to make a jump or something between there and over here to get over
Okay.
here. Right?
Yes. Second question. With Pokemon abilities such as Focus Energy,
Yep.
is that something that when they are put in their Pokeball, even if it's in the same fight, it's lost?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, there are certain abilities that allow you to retain stats between Pokemon changes, but the typical
But Focus Energy is not one
Yeah.
of them. Okay. And then recalling a Pokemon
is an action.
is an action, but can I recall, throw, and release the same Pokemon as a full action, or no?
No.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to recall Nidorino.
Okay.
Drake. And I'm going to go So that's my action. Move her here.
Okay. You start running along the little rocky islands.
Yeah. And end of my turn.
Okay. Driftbloom number 3 is feeling pretty comfortable where it is. And it is going to make a gust attack similarly towards your Houndor. That is a 6 to hit you.
That does not hit.
Alrighty. Your Houndor hunkers down as this gust of wind comes flying towards it, dodging the majority of the blast. Callum, it is top of the round. Your turn.
Well, Callum is suggesting a Houndor to do a thing.
All right.
Is going to be figuring out how to draw a shape.
Soft potato, warm potato, little ball of food.
Can you move that? Well, either way, that's a.
Where do you want it? Like centered on it?
Over the two of them that you can see.
Over. Oh, these two.
Yeah.
Like there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's going to be my smog attack.
Awesome. Okay.
Con save.
At the beginning of their turn, is it, or is it right now? I think it's any creature starting their turn in it. Okay. So your Houndor just coughs out this big black cloud of smog. Floats over the battlefield towards these two spectral balloons. Okay. You doing anything else?
Question. Does
Yep.
that go away if I recall Houndor?
It's not a concentration, is it?
Doesn't say anywhere on my sheet if it is or not.
It shouldn't be then. It would say under duration. It would say like one action, concentration,
okay.
or whatever. So if
No,
it doesn't,
it's
then
just
no.
one round.
Okay, then no, it would stay.
Okay. But that I've used my action, so I can't actually call him back.
Correct.
No, I think I'm good.
Awesome. Elise, you watch as the two Pokemon in front of you just disappear inside this large cloud of smoke. There's still the one floating off in the ether. That's kind of been blowing a wind at you.
I'm going to suggest the Spicy Fiesta use Ember again on the one in front of it.
All right, it flicks its tail.
Nice.
It's a nat 20.
Crit.
Nat 20. It's almost like a big chunk of its flaming tail flies off towards it, striking this Drifloom easily.
Nice. It will take 6 points of damage, and I guess it's burned now.
Okay. Because these Drifloom are already poisoned, it can't
Did you
have
calculate
multiple
your
status
crit?
effects. However,
What's your crit calculation?
double the dice.
Okay. So another 2.
So that was
Take that crit
8 points
damage.
total.
Whoop whoop.
Awesome. This Drifloom's looking pretty rough. It's taken a lot of damage before. It's looking a little singed and a little burnt. You can see that there's parts of it that are slightly deflated as it's floating there.
Feisty Fiesta's kitchen.
Were both of those Drifloom already poisoned?
They were
They
the
are.
ones from up top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just didn't mark them. Let me mark the other one. There. Perfect. Okay. The Drifloom, starting his turn there. Can you give him 1d4 poison damage?
That is 2 plus, I think it's plus something. Just bear with me half a sec.
Sure.
No, you must know now.
1d4 plus con, which is 0. So, yeah, 1d4.
Okay.
So 2 damage. And then they have to make a Constitution save against 10.
Okay. Against a 10? Yeah, that's a 16.
Okay.
So 19. So it makes it. You note as it floats outside the radius of this thick cloud of smog.
And it was difficult terrain going through it, right?
Correct. It seems to be hardly touched by the smog. It seems to be somewhat resistant to the poison effect.
This motherfucker's ruining my plan.
There. And you can see its whole body shudder before it releases from its bottom this large gust of wind towards your Houndor. That is going to be a... plus 3 is... plus 5 is going to be... that's going to be 19 to hit you.
Oh, well, yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. You take 7 points of flying type damage as your Houndor really needs to grab hold of the ground. It is just pelted. Driftbloom number 2 is... I think it's this other one inside. Yep. Roll your d4 for this other Driftbloom inside the cloud of smoke.
Yes, just bear with me.
Okay.
Find one of those offensive dice. Yeah, I don't want to use that one.
Was it a dink?
That one is even worse at a 1.
At a 1. Okay. Because it's poisoned, it also takes poison damage at the beginning of its turn. As it limps outside of this cloud of smog, it looks nearly deflated. It's hardly got anything left in it. It looks over at your Houndor, and it is going to... Yeah, within range. It's going to shoot forth another gust of wind at it. I think that's going to miss. That's going to be an 11.
That does miss.
All right. Your Houndor, used to much stronger winds, is not bothered. Blair.
Okay. Blair is going to run up here and
Okay.
throw. I can throw 60 feet, right?
Yep. So you clamber over each of the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Note you can't see over there.
But I know there's a platform.
You do.
I know there's a platform. I know I can throw
60 feet.
60 feet.
Okay.
She had a plan.
Okay.
She had a calculated plan. And she's smart. Okay.
Okay.
She's going to throw out over calculating and throw him like way out here to overcompensate for the cloud. So that would put him 50, maybe even inside the hole a bit.
Okay.
He still has movement
Yep.
from there. She said she's gonna yell over the smog, get as close to the big one as you can, and maybe try and intimidate him over to you. So he's gonna go here. As a bonus action, can I try and look imposing and intimidating?
Honestly, this is kind of weird because you didn't swap out one Pokemon last time. You used your turn to pull your Pokemon back and you moved your Pokemon. So, I mean, I think technically to put your Pokemon back out would have taken another action.
That was an action. And then it
Right.
moved.
But it would have been your action to have done so. So it also you would have had to have taken an additional action to have commanded it to move or take a bonus action.
He
So I'm
doesn't
going to say
have to move. You can stay there.
well, because of how weird this is, I'm going to say that you can move, but that's about it.
Okay.
Okay. Mandrake runs up to the edge of this small floating island in front of this mysterious castle. Drift Bloom number 3 is this guy floating off by himself right here. You see him shudder in pain, taking more poison damage. This poison really wearing these things down. But it is going to continue on. It's going to try to make another gust attack towards your Houndor. Ooh, that is a 5.
That misses.
5 misses. Something about the poison. Callum, it is your turn.
I'm going to recall my Houndor.
Okay.
And throw out. I'm going to throw out Munchlax.
Awesome.
Where's Munchlax going to go?
Within 60 feet of you.
Actually, no. I'm not. Sorry. I was just reviewing.
Okay.
I'm going to throw out Spearow.
Okay.
Why is it not opening?
Grab the.
There it goes. Got it. Yeah, okay. Spearow is going to go. There.
Awesome. Okay. You throw your Pokeball and this small, ruddy feathered Pokemon appears. It angrily flaps its wings aggressively and turns towards the floating balloon. Elise. Oh, Callum, are you going to move? It's the last thing you can do, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, take the little thing.
He starts running over top of the rocks, jumping from one to one. Elise.
Working really hard, Spicy Fiesta. And I think we're gonna wear this Driftloom down. So let's try it again. Another Ember.
Okay.
That's a 21.
That hits, definitely. Spicy Fiesta, definitely feeling spicy today.
He's a 4.
Is a 4. Perfect. Another solid 4 points of damage on this Driftbloom. It looks like it's actually having a hard time holding its form together in this weird sort of nether space. You see its rubber-like exterior almost starting to sizzle and peel away, leaving behind this white residue that is just sort of loosely congealed inside its form. Okay. Are you moving or anything?
No, I'm gonna hang out with Spicy Fiesta for a minute more.
Okay. The Driftblim. This cloud of smog has dissipated. The Driftblim turns behind it and sees this new target that has come upon, and it sort of floats ominously towards it. And it is... it's not going to float right up to it, specifically. It's actually going to float 20 feet upwards.
Of course it is.
So it's now kind of 20 feet above, and it's going to shoot down a gust of wind. That is going to be a 27 to hit you?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to take... That is 11 points of flying type damage. As your Mandrake is pelted by this heavy wind. Driftbloom number 2. This one, or is it the other one? That's number 3. Number 2. You see as it starts to move, its form shudders and shudders, and then it's almost like it starts falling away as it finally succumbs to the poison. its rubber exterior peels back, and like wind being released, you hear the sound of and then it just dissipates. Gone.
That's why you don't mess with Omelet Cowboy.
Exactly.
Blair,
Okay.
you just saw one of the drift bloom finally disappear.
Yepper, we did. And he's 20 feet up, yeah?
He's 20 feet up relative to Nidorino.
Well, I can't do much. Nidorino, focus that energy and looking as intimidating as you can. Get him to fight on your level! And he's gonna focus his energy, making my crits 19 or 20.
Nice. Okay. Are you moving or anything?
Nope.
Okay. Drifloon number 3 is like the other one, succumbing to its poison, dissipates into the air. Disappears. Callum. You 3 are now left with your Pokemon and this one large spectral floating balloon.
Okay. Spiro, go and Fury attack against that last Drifloon.
Okay. Roll an attack.
Okay. In the dice box. Oh, that's not amazing with an 11.
11. Okay. Your Spearow goes to try and hit it. Completely missing. It seems to be overzealous. It seems to be a little sort of out of sorts in this weird sort of unnatural space. And it's still trying to get its footing as it flaps around furiously. Elise.
So it is 20 feet ahead of me and 20 feet up, which means Ember will still hit.
I think so. What's your range on Ember?
It's
60?
60.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna mess with something that's working. Let's show him what heat we've got. Or we could instead do 7.
7. 7 misses. It just flies off into the distance.
Look at him on the next try.
The Driftblim, floating there, surrounded by all you crazy things. You see its form start to shudder, and it starts to shrink a little bit. You note that it moves a little more erratically, and it actually looks like maybe this is a more difficult target to hit. Okay. Blair.
Still 20 feet up.
Still 20 feet up.
Okay. He's gonna back up and focus his energy again.
Okay.
Hope for him to come down.
Okay. Callum.
Callum is going. I'm going to command Spiro to leer at this Driftbloom while also flying away.
Okay. Driftbloom is going to take an attack against him as he flies away. That is going to be a Dex, so that's going to be 19 to hit.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Your Spearow takes 13 points of dark type damage. As it moves to get away, it's almost like tiny pins and needles erupt from the body of this Drifloon, striking the Spearow. And the Spearow.
Did Lear appear to have any effect against it?
He didn't get the Leer off because he tried to move.
Okay.
Because you were going to move and then Leer? Yeah. Okay. And the tiny bird disappears. You can replace it as a free action with another Pokemon within 60 feet of you.
Okay.
Yeah, the tiny bird just disappears back inside your Pokeball as the second one replaces it. This small pigeon-like Pokemon appearing, flapping its wings.
Yep. That's that.
All right, Elise.
We've had one shot. Let's give it another. Spicy Fiesta is not interested in what's going on. With an 8.
Seems like Spicy Fiesta might be getting a little shook up. It's finally realized where it is. These ghostly apparitions before it. It's a little befuddled, a little shaken, a little shook. Blair.
My turn again. I'm gonna say, keep focusing, Mandrake. As a bonus, can I have him look imposing and try and give it a reason to come over? As he focuses his energy.
Sure. Give me like an intimidation check.
That's not very good. Just a 9.
Okay. As Nidorino sits there, it seems it's focusing. It's a little too intent on its current task to be able to appear imposing or try to make any sort of gesture. Callum.
Just point of interest, so I make sure I'm rolling the right thing.
Sure.
For your move, if you are proficient in your stat, do I get to add that proficiency plus my stat bonus plus my proficiency bonus?
Oh, to damage? No, it's
no, not
just
to damage, to hit.
To hit it.
Yes.
So, okay. Because there's one attribute, like with Pidgeotty, the Dex is +1 bonus, +2 proficiency, and then +2 proficiency. So a total of +5 to hit.
Yes. Hold on. Because Pidgey is... Because it should be your proficiency plus your stat, so +1 +3. No, it should only be +3.
Okay.
So it should be your proficiency plus your stat bonus.
I think the proficiency for this for the skill is for saving throws.
Touche.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
It
that
just
makes
doesn't
sense.
say saves like it.
Okay. I was just the character sheets a little
Confusing.
confusing.
I agree.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Okay, so he's going to use a gust attack.
Alrighty. Roll an attack.
8.
8. No, this tiny bird is having a hard time conjuring wind in this spectral netherworld. Elise.
That guy's going into dice jail.
All right, 3rd time's the charm. Hey, he's a 16.
16. 16 hits.
Well,
Roll some damage.
it's
nice.
I want to say an 8, but let's double check that. Don't be a liar, Elise. Sorry, I'm doing this from a phone, so.
No, not
Bear
at all.
with
Take your
me.
time.
It's a 9.
It is 9. Awesome. Solid blow as your Ponyta launches this barrage of embers towards the Drifloon. It takes it straight on, and you can see it sort of smoldering on it.
That's it.
It turns towards you, and if it could scowl, you would notice a
You
scowl.
got it, Ponyta.
The Drifblim, now that you've got its attention, starts floating down towards you. And it's just going to kind of hover over you, still 20 feet above you. The Pidgey would get an attack of opportunity as it moves by.
Can I use any of my moves?
Yep.
Still 20 feet up.
Yep.
Including ranged attack moves?
You could, but it would be at disadvantage.
I feel like, from what I know about my Pokemon training, that a ranged attack would be better than a normal type attack against a ghost Pokemon. But
Go
I
for it.
could be wrong. 12 plus 3 is 15.
You hit.
That will be 6 damage. With
Nice.
flying type.
Not bad. Yeah, takes it on. This time your Pidgey managing to conjure a little bit more wind. It took him a little longer to get there, but he hit it. Yeah,
It's weird air to conjure a gust.
it's true.
I don't understand.
The Drifloon hovers over top of your Ponyta, and it lets loose this torrent of wind down upon it. That's going to be... That's 22 to hit.
That will be a hard yes.
You're going to take 6 points of flying type damage down on Spicy Fiesta. Blair.
Getting angry. It's like that fucking fight in the other game all over again.
It doesn't seem concerned with you. I mean, your Nidorino hasn't touched it. It hasn't really done much. It's just kind of been there.
know.
But these other things are harassing it.
How is this Bellsprout can't even reach it? Sorry. How tall is this rock?
All the rocks here would be pretty close to level with each other. And just kind
Like
of
this
how they're
little
floating.
Rock? This rock. This little rock.
Yeah. This one, none of them are big. It maybe comes to 3 feet off the ground. Why? What are you trying to accomplish?
Being able to hit it with a Pokemon? Looking at this gap. Sorry. Looking at this gap here,
Yep.
does it look like a difficult gap?
Not terribly. Like it's maybe a 5-foot leap.
Running jump pretty easy?
With a simple athletics or acrobatics check.
Well, Nidorino's gonna attempt it.
Okay, your Nidorino
Okay.
takes off running towards it. Can I get an athletics or acrobatics? Your choice.
Fuck my life. 12.
Okay. As it runs, it leaps off the one side, and it just nails the other side. You can see it clawing, trying to get up on top of it, and eventually it gets some purchase and pulls itself over and continues lopping along.
Okay. And focus again, I guess.
Okay. Callum.
just wondering what is this up here?
Oh, that's it's a Meryl for some reason.
Okay. So that's not something that's... I was just wondering if that was something that was commanding everything in the background.
It was hash brown all along.
Hash brown's the BBEG.
Okay.
I could have told you that from the first game.
Okay, we're gonna try another gust attack then.
Alrighty, going for a gust. Oh no.
About on par for
Say
a
no.
Elise.
We got its attention. Let's see what kind of damage we can do. It's 17.
17 hits. Roll some damage. This Ponyta
It's a
MVP. Look at that. Solid
This is
damage.
basically
Face
up to
full of
these two to
embers.
destroy this
Slowly
thing.
hacking it down.
It's her only attack that is not normal type.
Okay. The Driftblim is going to...
Go fight that Nidorino.
Right? Because I crit on a 16 now? Please. Give me some rubbery skin in this game.
Have you tried looking really weak and wounded?
Be like, I'm so tasty! Look
Okay.
at me, I'm delicious!
You see
That's a
its
surf
form start to shudder again, and it starts shrinking smaller and smaller and smaller and moving more erratically. It looks like it may be even harder to hit.
Your mother was a clown balloon.
Okay, Blair.
Look delicious.
Can I improvise some kind of move?
What are you thinking?
Is there any loose stone that can be double kicked at it really hard?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's stones flying all over the place here.
Okay. Like in the air?
Yeah, absolutely.
cool.
You can see kind of like all this rubble that's just floating around haphazardly. It's floating gently enough so that you could run up to something and give it a boot.
Okay. Okay, Nidorino. If he's not going to come to us, it's time to get creative. Double kick that floating stone!
Okay. Give me, because it's a double kick, give me 2 attacks, both with disadvantage.
So 9 plus 12. So 14.
14 misses. The first rock goes flying off into space.
And that's a 17.
17 just hits.
Okay.
You see this
Does it
creature.
count as a crit? Because my focus energy.
No, because it wasn't a natural 7.
so what do you want me
or
to roll
16
for?
or higher. What do I want you to roll?
Yeah. For damage, because
Roll
it's
the
an improvised attack.
Yeah, roll the damage from that attack.
So roll like a typical double kick?
Yeah. Let's go
So
with that.
just the D8?
Yep.
Okay. That's not D8. 6.
6 points of damage.
A fighting type, though.
Okay.
Does it look like it did anything to him?
Okay. So if this was honestly a kick that you were kicking out of him, I would say it's normal type damage because it's not even, or it would be fighting type because it's not even a move
Yeah.
per se.
It's an improvised.
This would largely be typeless damage,
'Kay,
is what I would
so,
probably
like,
call this.
normal,
so
so it does nothing.
No, the rock collides with it, and you see that it definitely buffets it, doing some sort of damage. What did you roll for damage?
A 6.
Okay.
And then I tell him to look as big and imposing as you can, Mandrake!
Okay, Callum, you just see this Nidorino from halfway across the arena kick these 2 stones out towards it. One of it's smacking it.
Good job, Netterino. I'm surprised you were able to even do that. Then...
So am I.
Yeah, we're going to do just do another gust attack.
Okay.
Nope.
Ooh. Tough luck. That's rough. Mean dice. Elise. As the Pidgey sort of sputters in midair.
Dice Joe.
I hope you brought lots.
We can't be
Oh, I did.
outshone by that Nidorino. Show him what grit you've got. And we'll go for another Ember, and it is
Good
a
grit.
21.
Hit.
5 points of damage.
5 points of damage.
Yeah.
Solid.
Fire damage in your face.
Another burst of flame lights up the front of this drift blim. Okay. The drift blim, not at all too happy with this, actually starts to descend upon your Ponyta. Moves right down on top of it, and you see a series of dark pins and needles sort of erupt from it, seeming to react to the fact that you just did damage to it. It moves out more violently than the last time you saw it use this attack. That is a... it's a 15 to hit.
That'll hit.
15 hits. You take 18 points of dark type damage as it lashes out, striking your Ponyta.
Pretty hardy attack.
Gone.
Nice. The Ponyta just falls over unconscious, disappearing inside your Pokeball once
Good
again
job,
in a
Spicy.
bright
You
red
have the-
light.
I'm going to call out my ancient nemesis, Hash Brown.
Hash Brown appears on the field.
10 feet in front of me, please, babe.
This small, friendly-looking blue mouse Pokemon.
No, he's the BBEG.
Hash Brown, destroyer of worlds.
From Meryl, right?
Yeah.
There's 10 feet in front of you?
Very nice.
Yes, sing me the song of your ancient evil people.
Blair.
We gotta get him off. Elise's Pokemon. Let's try again. Double kick a rock.
Okay. 2 attacks at disadvantage as another rock
Yes.
floats by.
That was a natural 20 and a 15, and I had crit on a 16. So that's really disappointing.
Close.
So that would be, I think it's +6, so 21
That hits.
for the first one.
Yep.
Sorry, I lost sight of 7.
7 points.
Yeah.
Okay, as another stone strikes it. Improbably so.
And then he's gonna kick another one. One short of a crit again.
Not bad.
21 again.
That's another hit. This Nidorino landing all these hard blows from across the field.
I'll that roll anyway. 6. So that's 10.
10 points of damage. Solid.
And I'm like, make him come to you. And he kind of like snorts and huffs.
Okay. Callum.
Pidgey. Pocket sand.
Pocket sand? Just
Sure.
reaches into his feathery pockets and
Goes there. And
Some birds have a feathery pocket in the form of their gullet where they keep stones.
that is true.
except he's just going to kick it up from the ground.
Okay. Perfect. What's the save it needs to make?
Con save.
Isn't
13.
that because they can't digest? Yeah. Yeah. I totally forgot until you said it, and I was like, that's a digestion thing. Yeah.
Things you know when you are a childhood nerd.
That's a 15.
It's okay.
Saves.
Yeah, you note this Pokemon's pretty hardy. It's got a pretty good con.
Okay.
Elise.
Okay, Hash Brown, we've had our differences.
It's time to put those aside.
Understatement of the century.
Kind of
is
looks over
seriously
at you and
that
it
guy.
huffs.
I hate you so much.
Just out of curiosity, what's his nature or her nature?
I think it's apathetic.
Is that pathetic?
It's just like, whatever. I guess.
Yep. That was a 3 for a bubble.
With a water gun, it kind of looks back at you and looks at it and goes,
Just kind of spits all over the place.
this loose stream of
I'm
water.
gonna find a way to
spits
fucking
out.
cook you.
Spicy Fiesta comes out of the ring like 20s and 19s at first. Hash Brown.
Like, that was a suck a dick move if I ever just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay, this Driftblim being pelted across the way here by this Nidorino is going to start moving
Looks like, bitch, please come here. I want to crit on you hard.
towards it. And as it moves, it conjures up this spectral, ghostly, purple-tinted wind from out of the nether that flies towards you. You can hear the sound of screaming and wailing in the air.
Mom.
So that's an attack against your Nidorino. That's going to be... Oh, that's not a good attack.
Good.
That's a 5. That's 13 to hit.
Miss.
Misses. Your Nidorino hunkers down, completely dodging the effects of this attack. Blair.
Okay. Okay. Good job, Mandrake. You got his attention. Focus hard.
Oh, he gets hard, all right.
Oh, he does. Crit on a 15 hard.
You see as he digs his feet in deeper into the dirt, waiting for this oncoming assault. It's almost like the rock, the land underneath of it starts to crumble. The sheer power this Pokemon is building in its muscles. Callum.
Since the last two I missed by
Well,
one.
Pidgey, pocket sand didn't work. Let's try another gust attack. I think
It's got 40-foot range, I think.
yeah, he's good from there.
Yeah.
I took a lesson from Matt's playbook in the Poke Pageant when he was kicking
That's
his
11.
balls.
11? No.
I was like,
The
"Steve,
wind
let me do
flies
it."
off
Let's see.
harmlessly. Are you moving or anything?
Yeah, he'll follow at a respectable distance.
Phew. Awesome. Elise. Elise and Hasbrown.
Come on, BBEG.
Alright. We're gonna try bubble again.
3 attacks. Make it so.
I swear to God, you friggin' rat. One's a nat 1. One's a 9 and one's a 17.
The 17 just hits. So you see 2 of them explode in space right in front of it.
Minimum effort.
The third one, though, lands solidly against it, and as it pops, you see the form of this ghost Pokemon kind of sink in a little bit, feeling the pressure, and then ripple.
3 points of water damage.
Excellent.
In your face.
Excellent. That definitely did something. Hash Brown kind of turns back and looks at you and it's like,
More of that, please.
the Drifblim continues floating towards this Nidorino. And is going to use a gust attack.
Beach. Miss me.
That's going to be a 22.
Yes.
Okay.
It had me at 20.
You take 8 points of flying type damage.
Math is hard sometimes.
Blair.
Blair. He's still about 20 feet up.
Nope. It's about eye level.
Okay, but this is like a ridged crease. It's not flat. Like this spot?
Correct.
So that would put him elevated.
I would say because your Pokemon's large enough, it could probably
Would it
clamber
be
down the edge a
melee?
little bit and probably still be in melee of it.
Okay. Okay. Get up on him. And he's going to move.
Yep.
And I'm going to say, okay, I'm pretty sure fighting's not going to be very effective. Flying's probably the better option, so use Peck.
All right, goes in for a peck attack as it leaps up with its horn towards this adversary.
And 17 hit.
17 hits just as this small balloon sort of moves
Roll a
around.
10, roll
It's
a 10,
caught in
roll
the
a 10.
side by this
Oh, it's
corner
a
of its horn.
9.
9 points of damage. Solid hit.
I know, but if I roll a 10, then he's poisoned.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because that's my poison point ability.
Your Nidorino sort of lands back on the edge of this small precipice and clambers its way back up. Callum.
Well, let's try another gust attack.
Goes in, flapping its small wings, conjuring a gust of wind.
Gonna have to get closer.
50 feet.
Oh, there we go. It's a natural 19.
Nice.
Nice. That hits.
Hit.
Good job, Pidgey.
Okay, so this is 7 damage.
7 damage.
Nice.
Wow, that is a really solid hit. After all of its failed attempts, the Drifloon didn't even see it as an adversary. Coming up behind it, it is struck unawares. That is a solid hit. Elise.
Okay, 1 out of 3 is not bad. Let's close the distance a little and try it again. So you can move now, maybe like 15 feet towards the Drifloon.
Okay.
Alright, we got 12, a 13, and an 18.
18 hits. So again, 2 of the bubbles erupt in midair. The last one strikes its target true, though.
It's a 3!
Another 3 points of damage, chipping him down. Every point counts. Excellent. Okay. This Driftbloom getting pelted from all sides. Looks back at its main adversary. And you see erupting from its body again these dark pins and needles that flare out towards the Nidorino in a counter-esque like attack. That's gonna be a 19 to hit.
Yeah.
You note because you dealt it damage, the strength of the move seems to be increased.
Okay.
That is 17 points of dark type damage that fly from its body, striking your Nidorino, dealing it a deadly blow.
Yeah.
How's Nidorino looking?
Looks good.
He looks good.
Don't give away my poker face.
You goddamn liar!
She does this all the time. There's no reading it.
My hit points, we don't talk about that.
Blair,
Okay.
you just saw your Nidorino get dealt this devastating blow. It's sort of reeling.
Okay, Nidorino, you got this. I know it's tough, but it's for those kids. Peck, one more time. No, you've been a dick. That's a crit!
Hey.
So that
Jumps
was
up
an-
in midair.
That was over
striking it
20. I'm not gonna
with
do
its
the math.
horn.
It was a natural 19. It's a crit.
That hits.
It's a crit
It's a
now.
crit.
If he's going out next turn, he better crit on this motherfucking turn. That's all I gotta say. Otherwise, I wasted 5 turns powering him up.
Leaping into the air, your Nidorino strikes it with the tip of its horn, dealing wicked damage.
17 points.
How
Ooh.
is that cocked?
I don't know, but we're gonna take it.
The glue might cause a little bit of
Okay. This Drifblim looks really, really hurt.
The only
You
way
see
that
as
could have
it's
been better
floating,
is
it's
if
sort
one of those was a 10.
struggling to stay in the
Because then he would have been
air.
poisoned, motherfucker.
Callum.
Okay. Gust seems to be the most effective thing we can do, so let's do another one. Nope. That bounced out.
No.
That bounced out.
There's lots of bounce. There's like double felt in the thing.
That's no good.
That's a bounce. That's a bounce. That's no
Bounce,
good.
bounce, pass.
No.
It's
Bounce,
really annoying
bounce,
because the ones
nope.
that bounced out were a 16 and a 19.
Oh, lame.
You note that both this Pidgey and this large flying balloon, both of which you can imagine are flying types. The one is much more adept at the element, though, being able to duck and weave and just deal with these blows that are coming at it.
From my level
The
2
gust
Pidgey,
isn't doing too
you
much.
don't say.
Elise.
I'm not giving up on you now, Meryl. Bubble attack again. Okay, I changed my mind. Maybe I give up on you.
Why, what was
The
that?
one
Eyes
time
with
that
the
she was
cat.
not optimistic.
Kind of looks back at you, rolls its eyes a little bit, and goes. And
ones I
these
love.
3 little bubbles sort of float out in front of it and drift off into the nether. The Driftblim, once again, using its payback attack, shoots forth this dark energy from within its body. These rippling, dark pins and needles erupting from its form. That is going to be a 25
Yeah,
to
it
hit.
hits. It would be some kind of miracle if I survive this.
Ooh, that's a lot of ones.
Music to my ears.
You take 13 points of dark type damage.
Yeah, Nidorino's unconscious.
Ooh, that is just too much for the Nidorino to bear, and it falls over on its side.
You did good, Mandrake. Now,
And then disappears inside its Pokeball.
go, Chamomile. Go, Mama Bear!
As the Ursaring appears, giving a large bellow. Okay, Blair, it's your turn. Chamomile appears before this ghostly Pokemon.
Yeah, and
The two-
Chamomile is still
Staring
paralyzed.
eye to eye.
Okay. Sorry, I haven't attacked this yet.
What is Chamomile going to do? What do you command your large bear Pokemon to do?
Okay, so all attacks. Is it just melee attack, or is it basically any move? Any move I have to roll to see if she can do it? Because she's paralyzed?
Correct. So if you have to declare a move, and then you roll to see.
Okay. Okay, I know this is going to be tough. Shake it off and try and fake some tears.
Okay.
'Kay.
So roll a d4. If you get a 4, it's stricken by its paralysis and it's
But
restrained.
any other, I'm fine.
Correct.
So
Good.
that's a 2.
Yeah, no problem. Struggles through its paralysis. Keeps moving.
So you need to make a wisdom save.
Oh, I think it's definitely going to fail that. That is a 4.
I just got to figure out what her save is. 8 plus...
Oh, sorry. That's a
8.
7. Either way, it fails.
Yeah, it fails. And I'm going to say, good job, Chamomile. Now you're helping your team.
What
So
happens?
all attack rolls against the target are given a +5 bonus until the end of my next turn.
Not bad. This Driftblim is taken a little off guard. This large bear Pokemon appearing in front of it, giving these
Starts weeping.
cute baby doll
Now, if I
eyes.
was a dick, I would have been like, remember how horrible it was when I took your child away from you. But I'm not a dick.
Driftblim is kind of looking around, feeling a little bad for itself. It's really reconsidering its life choices. You see that it's let its guard down a bit.
Fake tears, baby.
Callum.
You said that's +5 to my attacks.
Damn straight.
Perfect.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it.
So 6 plus 5 is 6 plus 5 is 11 plus 3 is
14.
not high enough to hit him.
No, you note that it would have hit it before it started shrinking, but because of its minimize, it's just a little too crafty. It's a little too dodgy. But solid effort from your level 2 Pidgey. Elise.
Alright, Hash Brown. I think I figured out what's wrong. Stop telling yourself you're not good at this. So we got a 7, a 3, and an 11, which is a 12, an 8, and a 16.
All 3 of them. The 16 comes close. Like, they each sort of bellow out towards this
Minimum
Pokemon.
effort from Meryl.
The 16 even getting close enough to pop right as it strikes it, but it doesn't have enough momentum.
I'm not gonna stop at just cooking and skinning you. I'm gonna find your family.
The Driftblim, confronted by this new Pokemon.
Sorry about that.
I did try.
Whiffed it.
I will try again. I got 4 more rounds of fake tears. She's got a lot to cry about.
Is going to use
Might
minimize
be
again,
therapeutic.
and you see as its body shrinks even further, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. At this point, it's probably the size of like a, I don't know, a honeydew melon,
The worst kind of melon.
the most devious of melons. Okay,
That's the green one, or is that the orange one?
it's the green one.
Oh, that
The one
one's
that
a
no
good
one wants.
No, the
Blair.
orange one, the
Okay,
cantaloupe.
so because
Those
fake
ones.
tears lasts till the end of my turn, I'm going to attempt to do Fury Attack.
Okay,
Please do.
go for it.
That is a 2.
All right, struggling through its paralysis, this bear just unleashes this fury of blows.
So I roll to see if I hit again after.
Yeah, so
So if I
roll
successfully
your
hit-
initial attack.
Okay.
If you hit, you roll a d4 afterwards, and on a 3 or a 4, you land another hit. And you keep going for 5 times, I believe, up to 5 hits.
I think you just keep going.
So that's
indefinitely.
22.
It might be. 22 still hits, yeah. So roll damage for that hit.
Yeah, I'm just making sure all her stats are put in properly because. Okay, so then.
Yeah, Fury Attack, Fury Swipes. There's a few different ones that work
So that's
similarly.
10 damage on the first hit
Okay,
of normal type.
It is to a maximum.
so roll a d4.
Normal doesn't do anything. No!
You should see the grin.
That's a
on
4,
the
so she
DM's
can't do it
face
anyway.
Right now.
A 4 would be.
Oh, she can.
Positively
Yeah.
Oh,
maniacal.
motherfucker, I know.
Roll damage.
Oh, I just rolled damage.
No, it's just another hit.
Roll damage, yeah. It's kind of like he's just swiping furiously.
That's another
And
10.
Every time you get a 3 or a 4,
Steven, that's another
it's
10
getting
that doesn't
hit by another
do
one
anything.
of its
So
furious
20 points
swipes.
of normal damage.
Okay, 20 points of normal damage.
Hit again.
And he hits again.
9.
Okay,
So 29 points.
29 points. Roll another d4. You hit again.
5 more points.
Okay, so that's 34.
That's it.
Okay. You notice this bear unleashes this barrage of attacks. Its
Fuck my
claws
life.
just flying.
Yeah.
The Driftblim doesn't even bother to get out of its way. And its blows almost seem to just cut through it like
After I
butter.
declare my.
Just harmlessly striking this Pokemon.
God damn
It
I
seems like
knew that
normal
too.
attacks have no effect on it.
Yeah.
He's so satisfied with himself. I wish you could see it.
I know he is. That's the problem. Because the minute I was like, I do 10 points of no fuck.
Caleb,
Nothing.
your turn.
I do nothing.
Let's try and do a gust attack again.
The +5 is no longer existent.
No.
That would have been a
Elise.
good move set too.
You just watch this bear
Damn it.
unleash upon this balloon, doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was a deadly series of blows,
Yeah, it was.
and it
Damn
did
straight.
nothing.
Chamomile up, girl.
Blah, 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 blah.
But
Um,
yeah, it's good.
so we got a 16.
16 does not hit.
This motherfucking Drifloon on this motherfucking ridge. Getting in my motherfucking nerves.
I can't hit anything.
Okay. The Drifblim is going to float 20 feet into the air.
Motherfucker.
Chamomile can take an attack of opportunity, if it so
Okay,
desires.
do I get to pick the type of move?
Yeah.
She's gonna lick it.
Okay.
Motherfucker tastes good.
Gross.
9. Okay, so that's 9 plus 3. So that's only a 12, so it misses.
12 misses. And it turns towards the Pidgey, and it goes to make a larger gust attack towards it. That's going to be a 22 on your Pidgey.
Oh yeah, that'll hit.
Your Pidgey takes 9 points of flying type damage as it is buffeted in the wind from this larger flying type Pokemon. Blair.
Well, that was a really good effort, and I should have known better. So let's try and help our team and fake tears.
Okay, needs to make another wisdom save.
That's a 4, so no.
Oh no.
She's
Your
paralyzed.
Pokemon is restrained by paralysis. Getting the better of it, it finally hunkers down, taking one knee as it's racked by this.
It's okay, Chamomile. I
Paralyzing
know
effect.
it's hard.
Ooh, what a time. Callum.
Callum's gonna call Pidgey back. Throws Houndour out one last time.
Awesome. And as the small bird disappears, your Houndour appears back, ready to fight.
So I can see him.
Okay.
And I think that's my turn.
Yeah, unless you want to move.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna move like there.
Elise.
Seeing Callum switch tactics, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna recall Meryl,
Okay.
and I am going to put my Gligar
Nice. Go Gligar, go Gligar, go.
30 feet back from the drift blue.
Okay.
And I'm gonna move 30 feet closer.
Awesome. As you vault over top of
Gotta
these
delete
floating
the
rocks.
BBEG.
Final boss.
Final boss.
Okay.
Hash Brown. Brooke and Jackson will have to destroy Hash Brown.
The Drifblim, seeing the bear paralyzed, comes back down 20 feet
Is this at advantage?
and is
Because
going to
she's
make
paralyzed?
a payback attack on it. Yeah. Because you are restrained, it's going to make it at advantage. Whoop, whoop.
Come on, Chamomile.
So that's going to be a 24 to hit?
Yeah.
You're going to take 15 points of dark type damage as it floats down over top. Helplessly, it is just racked by these dark tendrils.
Wait. That's wrong.
Blair.
What am I doing?
With your life, or just like in general?
Just my life. That's not right. How much points did it do?
15.
This is hard.
What was it before?
38.
20.
Thank you. I put an 18 and I was like, that's not right. But then my math couldn't configure in my head what was going wrong. Okay. I'm going to attempt fake tears again.
Okay. So it needs to make a
Yeah, I know.
paralysis check.
And Blair's gonna go, okay, come on. Try and shake it off. That's a 1.
Yep, no problem.
Can you make a wisdom save, please?
I think it failed that. That's going to be a 2 plus 5 is 7.
Yeah, you failed. So everybody gets a +5 again.
Aw, yeah.
This Drifblim just not prepared for these sassy fake tears coming off this bear.
Chamomile's broken heart.
Totally taken off
Because
guard.
it's laced with reality.
Callum.
Oh. Callum was going to do something different, but because he got that +5, he's going to ask to do an Ember attack.
Right. Stores up this large ball of fire in its mouth, and it shoots it out,
No. Nope.
flying off into the ether.
No. Wait, I don't think so. 9, 13, no.
13? No. There was a time when you thought a 13 might have hit it, but it has grown too small and too powerful. Elise.
I'm gonna move Amulet into melee range.
Omelet.
And we're gonna go for Poison Sting.
Okay.
It's a natural 20.
Natural 20 hits. Go for it.
Oof.
As this Gligar comes
Didn't even
flying
need
out of
that
the air.
+5. Go omelet. It's your birthday.
No. Come back, my character sheet. I need you.
Flying with its stinger first, it strikes this blow against the Drifblim floating there in the
It's
middle of the
9
air.
points of poison damage.
Okay.
+2.
I did 7 plus 2.
Oh, okay.
How do you want to finish it?
Nice!
Oh, and also it would have been poisoned as well.
Nice.
Just gonna sink a meaty little stinger in and just pop it.
Nice. You note as it pops, this Drifblim activates its final power, Aftermath, and it explodes. So you are going to take 4 points of typeless damage. And you note as its form dissipates, its purple, rubbery sort of skin sinks back and sort of gets sucked into almost itself. You see this white, wispy form that was inside of it start to disperse like souls being released from a vessel. And you hear a as they leave. And then a small swirling vortex catches it, and it disappears.
I wipe a proud tear away from my eye. Way to go, Omelet. You did me proud. And I'm gonna recall Omelet because he's poisoned.
Yeah.
So I don't want him to faint.
Blair is going to look down at the Pokeball that had Mandrake in it, recall Chamomile, and say, "You both did good," and then shoves him in her bag.
Okay. The danger is apparently gone. But you see that still pulsing wormhole by the front of this castle start to grow larger and larger and larger. You feel a sucking motion. But it doesn't seem to be pulling at you, more so just everything all around you. And you see the darkness slowly start to creep away, giving way to light, to the sound of wind, the sound of birds and insects, of flora and fauna. And all around you, the ghostly torches start to go out. The floating islands are dragged into this small wormhole, this black hole, and it just devours everything. There's a moment where you feel like you might be pulled in alongside the islands that you're standing on, but looking down, you can see the brown earth of this fishbowl canyon that you had just left. Looking around you, you don't see any ghost Pokemon, but you see Larry and the one last child that you left before being sucked in initially. Or I guess for you two guys before you jumped in.
Larry!
He looks at you and he says, it just went away. The hole, you kind of dove for it, and then
How long were we gone?
you weren't.
What?
He says, "Oh, I got a message. Hold on 1 sec." And then he checks his little beeper, and he says, "Oh, hey, did you just send this?"
No. Are you just receiving it?
Well, yeah, you heard it go off.
Larry, she sent that hours ago.
Hours, at least.
He says, "What happened to you three?"
We went through a mirror darkly.
I don't know, but I think perhaps we made quite the discovery today, and I think what we learned could maybe help others.
Yeah, we need to talk to someone about, I guess, Driftbloom and Driftblimp and Dark-type Pokemon and the myth of the underworld. Like,
I think an important discovery was potentially made today that could change people's perspective on Driftbloom, or at least caution them.
yeah, we have some important safety warnings. We need to talk to someone in charge.
In management. Can I see your manager?
He says, "Oh, well, none of you are hurt, are you? Are you all right?" 4 HP. As you're like holding your side.
I got like stomped on by my own Rhyhorn after falling to like my doom upon the cavern floor and then being smashed into like the walls over and over again. So
Being a Pokemon trainer is tough.
yeah, I probably passed out a little bit later.
He says, and your Pokemon, I have some things in my bag that might be able to help. Antidotes, paralyze heals, burn heals.
Absolutely.
And he kind of distributes them around each of you. Use them as you wish.
Any
Pokemon
revives?
trainer should always be prepared. No revives. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'll get Mandrake to a Poke Center.
He
But I'll
kinda
take the
holds out
paralyze.
his Pokeballs in front of him. He says, when we get back to the Pokemon Center. And he puts the Pokeball back on his belt.
I'll give Gligar that antidote.
And I will give Ursaring a paralyze heal.
The
Chamomile.
one kid that's with him, this 3-year-old blonde-haired kid, who's just kind of been hiding behind him this whole time. His cheeks are a little sunken, but his eyes are big, and he looks genuinely cheerful. Looks around and he says, "Is there more?"
We don't play with balloons, young man. They're very dangerous.
He goes, "Oh, but."
How about this nice Gligar? This is Amelet.
Kind of looks at him. And shakes his tongue at him. The kid loves it and gives it this great big hug. And the Gligar just kind of clings to him.
Balloons bad. Flying Scorpion's good.
I believe we tied that rope to a tree, so it wouldn't have fallen down. So I'm going to look at Larry and say, "Are you capable of climbing?"
He says, "Yes."
And then
I'll help the last one up.
was gonna bring out Chamomile and ask if Chamomile could carry the child up because she's got a climbing speed.
Sure.
I'm Brownie. I got double my carry.
You want to carry the child up?
As you fight with the large bear over who's gonna carry this child up.
I have opposable thumbs.
Then I will just hold on to Ursaring, and Ursaring can carry me up.
Okay. Ursaring just digs its big meaty claws into the side of the earth as it climbs up.
And when I get to the top, I'm going to run at Willow and give Willow a hug and tell him he did good watching the kids.
Okay. All the kids seem to just be clustered around the bottom of one of the nearby trees, seemingly just waiting for all of you to show up. As you do, they all run towards you. Willow likewise runs towards you and jumps into your arms. It had just been waiting there the whole time. And it snuggles in close to you. Larry takes note of all the children, and he turns back to each of you and he says, "Seems I trusted the right people. I'm so thankful."
Larry, do you know a way back to town that doesn't involve going through a bee nest?
Yeah.
He laughs and he says, "Well, no, but I'm sure there's a way around. We'll take our time."
We'll
That
find
sounds
it.
Perfect.
He says, "You guys don't happen to have any food or anything, do you?"
I open my
all the
bag
kids-
and give all my food to the children. And Larry.
So you guys kind of sit down and you have a makeshift lunch with your dried rations. The children don't seem to care.
His metal dice were just delivered whilst we were sitting here waiting.
Oh, the ones that weren't supposed to show up till October?
Yeah.
Uh,
Gold wish.
Maybe not all my rations. I have a lot of rations.
So you have a makeshift dinner, or breakfast, I should say. Lunchish? Yeah, because you
Just a
took
brunch.
off pretty early in the morning. After eating, you continue on your way. You see the spot in the cliff where you traveled up earlier, and you kind of move down the length of it. It takes you the better part of the rest of the day, but you find what you determine an easier way down between the use of chamomile and your rope and a lot of hands. You each make it down the length of the cliff and back into town, where as you approach, you're already recognized by a number of people. This being a small town, you hear a voice call out for each of the child. As you hit the town itself, the same police officer you saw earlier greets you, along with the smiling and crying faces of parents and one older brother trying to look tough.
I told you we were the people for the job. Just because you don't look like someone expects doesn't mean you can't do it. Right, Omelette?
Yeah. He still kind of clamped himself to the back of this child.
It's perfectly fine. Your child is fine. It's okay.
The kid's just been wearing him like a backpack.
And now we understand the rubber comment that she had written down in her notebook.
Yeah, I figured it out when I was like, kids are getting snatched, and I was like, in fucking rubber, it's a fucking balloon.
I would like to say I told you so to Officer Jenny.
She kind of does one of those, "Oh, kids," sort of things.
And that's why you don't catch criminals, Officer Jenny. 'Cause you underestimate everyone.
I'm going to like walk off to the side with Officer Jenny and just pester the shit out of her about the importance of Drifloon safety and all that we learned. And just like unload a shit ton of information about this strange world and how children can't give up and they have to stay strong and true to their goals and children shouldn't follow balloons and just just unload shit.
Give me just a general like persuasion roll.
That's a 15.
15. She takes to heart what you say about this Pokemon. Clearly something grabbed the children and hauled them off. As you explain to her the sight of these purple balloon-like Pokemon, she makes plenty of notes. As you start noting this underworld, this netherworld, she kind of closes her books and she's like, "Oh, child. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it."
Has she never seen like a
Is she
Pokemon?
like very clearly mocking me, like or not taking me seriously?
Definitely not taking you seriously.
And I can tell this.
You can.
Fine, you don't have to believe me, but I have two friends that would also agree with my story, and I think one might want to talk to your manager.
So one by one, the kids are all rounded up by their parents and taken off home. The police chief makes a lot of comments about paperwork and stuff that she has to do now that the kids are returned. She likewise takes off, leaving you three alone with Larry, who says, "Well, I never expected it to go like that. But, I mean, adventures never really go the way you plan them to. Isn't that right?"
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
None of you happen to catch any of those Pokemon, would you? I think Professor Larch would have been very interested in having a Drifblim or a Drifloon to study. You know, like you said, I feel like there's lots that we could stand to learn from these Pokemon and the weird places that they come from.
I just gesture to like the destruction of my body.
The decay of youth.
It's like shattered ribs, like compound fractured something. I like went from like 20 plus hit points to 4 for the last like couple of hours. So
How is everyone looking? How is Callum right now?
Callum's
He's the only one that wasn't
I
touched,
never-
I think.
took a single hit.
Me
I
and
didn't
Elise
have
took the
my
fall
own
damage.
giant Pokemon
yeah, we fell off a cliff.
stomp all over me.
Yeah, and we
True.
fell off the cliff, and he
And then
swung
I got
down.
like
True.
force ran into those walls repeatedly. Just
I have 16.
carried into
You have
those
16,
walls.
so a little
I'm
bit of damage.
legitimately like half.
Okay.
Almost every one of my Pokemon are on the verge of death.
But did any of them actually faint?
Yes.
Yes.
Spearow did.
Okay. Not too bad, though.
Houndour
I mean,
has 2 hit points.
wow.
Pidgey
Wow.
has 3.
Wow.
Wow.
You really milked them for all that they were
Oh,
worth.
yeah.
You did.
really-
You played strategically. Yeah,
that was
that's awesome.
great. What about you? How's your
Meryl's
team looking?
fine.
Here's the baby
Oh, hash
AG.
brown.
Ponyta's down.
Okay. Spicy
Rhyhorn is
Fiesta.
fine because they didn't bring a completely normal type, all normal attack Pokemon in.
Yeah.
And Gligar's down to 9.
Okay. Not too bad.
Mostly that was
Gligar
poison.
was tanky.
That poison every single round, taking that
Yeah.
damage. Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. How's
Ursaring's got more than half.
Yeah.
Eevee's almost full, but he never entered the fight. Nidorino's unconscious, and Bellsprout is full.
Not bad.
Yeah.
That well, butter.
It was a full.
Callum
body stretch.
definitely, like, his Pokemon definitely bared the brunt of the damage.
Did really well. Yeah. Sucked it up with all his flying types when you were fighting the Beedrills.
Thanks, sad boy.
But I mean that Ursaring really changed the game too. Like that
With
was
the plus
that was a lot
5.
of cool
Not that it
stuff.
actually assisted. Like, in the end, none of the plus 5 hit. And
well,
then
not just
the
that,
20...
like hauling up your
Oh,
friends
hauling
on
up the
rope
children
and,
faster. And yeah.
like all of that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't think we could have got them up.
You know
as
what,
fast
Larry?
as the Ursaring.
If you and your professor can find another rush of missing children, I would help you investigate.
I
This
would
time
too.
I'm going to be prepared.
Honestly, I find the Driftlooms slightly terrifying, but intriguing and worth study. So,
And we need proof.
yeah, I think I'd be willing to. Perhaps it becomes a goal of mine to.
How about you,
Learn
Callum? You
more?
want to take another trip to the underworld?
Not really. That was terrifying.
It was pretty
Did you
frightening.
wash your goth makeup off now, or? Like, I'm gonna live a normcore life now.
As he comes out of his shell.
No. I still need to find my Absol.
I don't think we can find one of those in the underworld, can we?
I don't know, Larry.
I'm gonna lie to him, tell him we can find one in the underworld.
How about that tip that you had for the Absol for me?
He says, "Well, if anything like this ever happens again, I'll be sure to call you 3 again."
Ghostbusters.
Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters.
Underage children.
So, where are the two of you headed?
I've just been like kind of traveling around. I haven't really had like much direction other than trying to find some Pokemon, train them up, get rid of Meryl, the curse of my family existence.
Your starter Pokemon.
Like my mom gave that to me. I can't get rid of it, but
You know why Meryl's so terrible at fighting? Because you're constantly threatening to eat him.
look, it's a long, complicated history, and I don't have to explain it to you.
Larry
I
said,
do
"You
need
did
some
name
new
all your
Pokemon that
Pokemon
aren't
after
Meryl."
food."
Blair shakes her head and puts her hand on both of your guys' back and say, well, if we all have
Nowhere particular.
nowhere
to be.
particular to go, why don't we go together?
Okay.
Yeah, we can use the tall one as a cover.
And then I like lean over and said, I think he's warming up to us.
I'll link my arm into this and start walking down the road.
Aw, into the sunset. Larry just kind of waves. That's a beautiful end. Aw.
If we're going nowhere together, if we're going nowhere, let's go there together.
Slowly going a little crazy.
Well, thank you guys for playing with me. I really appreciate that.
I'm gonna miss chamomile.
That was more than just filling time. That was a lot of fun. I
Yeah,
enjoyed
yeah,
that.
it was a lot of fun.
But
I
now
really
when I
enjoyed
go
it, so
back to
thank
playing
you.
Brooke, I'm
Different.
gonna miss
Thank you.
chamomile.
Well, you never know.
I love chamomile.
Next time, I might not play such a dour character.
He says that, but it's pretty typical for him.
He likes the roguish types.
Ooh. No, and thank you everybody out there for listening and who's going to be listening in the future. Again, this was kind of a shorter one, just cleaning up the end of this. I'm going to be writing all this up in a PDF as requested and putting it out there on the interwebs. I'll link it down below when I finally get a chance. And thank you to Kevin MacLeod for the music that you're hearing right now and everything that you heard during the course of this stream. Thank you to @JoeTheDM on Twitter for the homebrew that we just played. You're wonderful, and this is a very fun system. I look forward to exploring it more. Thank you to @_uwooby for the player tokens, which you did not see here today, but you will every other stream. We will be back next Monday. That is the 26th for our regularly scheduled Pokemon D&D Wundoro Adventure. Session 10. A small milestone that we've been putting off for a little while here. If you haven't already, feel free to like, subscribe, comment. Go to Instagram and find butterthe.puggle.
Please do. Everybody needs cute puppy spam.
Puggle.
Ah, perfect. Good
Not that there are
clarification.
any imitators.
Just to see how cute she is. And anything else
She's
you
pretty
two want to
darling.
share? Personal accounts? Where can we find you all?
I am @jdizzlelizzle on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm doing a daily draw of all 807 Pokemon.
And they look amazing though.
They do.
Did not realize that there was 807 when I agreed to this daily draw challenge.
There'll be more when Pokemon Sun and Shield or Sword and Shield are released
I'm
in
literally never gonna be able to stop doing
November.
these ever.
You'll be doing it for the next several years.
I should probably catch up.
Jillian is a very talented comic artist.
I'll put a
and
link
you
below.
should check her out.
Thanks so much, and thank you so much for having us and our tiny Houndour.
What about you? Can we find you anywhere?
Not really. I generally avoid social media.
But he can be contacted through
He is
me.
the roguish dour type.
Yes. I post every once in a while. Like, I don't know if anybody's aware of Lime scooters.
Ooh.
But I do know that they are not rideable one-handed.
Oh,
carrying a box of jelly modern donuts.
I'm sure there's a story there.
Yeah, Steven,
Yep.
turn around and have a look at my arm.
Is that where that came from?
I have
Stupidity is
some
where
Serious road
quite
rash.
serious road rash as a result of trying to ride a Lime scooter one-handed.
Carrying donuts.
Carrying
jelly
a box
donuts.
of donuts in the other.
Donuts were
That's
fine,
funny.
Oh,
Oh, good.
I was gonna say, were they like jelly donuts, and then you like all bloody yourself from the road, and like all the jelly on you too, and it just looked
No.
like a
Yeah, what is jelly and what is blood?
just looked like a bad horror movie set.
Pro safety tip: electric scooters, don't bother trying to ride them one-handed.
Fair.
Okay, so on that note, I'm going to say goodbye, fellows of the internet, and we'll catch you next Monday. Ciao, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Farewell.